transforming the educational landscape for children with special needs through an inclusive education approach. And today, we are gathered to commemorate the achievements and envision the future of special education in Sri Lanka. පුරා වසර 5ක කාලයක් අධ්‍යාපන කලාප තුනක නියම පාසල් 12ක් සමග ක්‍රියාකාරකම් කරමින් ව්‍යාපෘතිය මගින් අවධානය යොමු කරන ලද්දේ අන්තර්කරණ අධ්‍යාපන ප්‍රවේශයක් තුළින් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ විශේෂ අවශ්‍යතා ඇති ළමුන්ගේ අධ්‍යාපනික පරිසරය පරිවර්තනය කිරීමටයි. එමෙන්ම අද අපි රැස්ව සිටින්නේ මේ ව්‍යාපෘතියෙහි ප්‍රතිඵල සමාලෝචනයටත් අනාගතය සඳහා සැකසුම් සැලසීමටයි. To officially commence the proceedings of the seminar, I would like to invite the following representatives to the head table. Chief Representative of jicA Sri Lanka Office, Mr. Yamada Tetsuya. Please be on stage, sir. Representing the Additional Secretary of the Ministry of Education of Sri Lanka, Ms. Vasika Pereira. Director General of National Institute of Education, Professor Prasad Setunga. Director General of Non-Formal and Special Education Branch of the Ministry of Education, Mr. Nimal Hettiarachi. And finally, the project leader, Mr. Oguchi Shohei. Now we would like to officially commence the proceedings of the seminar. Then අපගේ ජාත්‍යන්තර ජාතික සම්මේලනයේ වැඩ කටයුතු ආරම්භ කරගෙන සූදානම්. Before we commence the proceedings of the seminar, let's hear some brief remarks from the Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Susil Premajayantha. පළවෙනිම ගරු අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍ය ආචාර්ය සුසිල් ප්‍රේමජයන්ත මහතා විසින් අපගේ ජාතික සම්මන්ත්‍රණය සඳහා එක් කර ඇති සුබ පණිවිඩය සවන් දී සිටිමු.
The right to education is enshrined in both the Universal Children's Rights Charter and the Sri Lankan Constitution. This fundamental right grants every child, regardless of background, the opportunity to receive a quality education. No child should be disadvantaged or privileged based on factors such as race, religion, caste, wealth, social standing, or any other arbitrary distinction. However, economic, social, political, and cultural disparities persist across Sri Lanka and the world, creating unequal access to education opportunities. Children with special education needs have been identified as a disadvantaged group for equitable education opportunities. In particular, children with disabilities encounter this scenario more frequently, but children with special education needs have incredible potential. It is crucial to recognize their unique abilities and implement targeted measures to nurture and develop those talents. Inclusive education, which rejects segregation and embraces diversity, is the cornerstone of a truly developed society. The project for strengthening education for children with special needs through inclusive education approach in Sri Lanka, implemented with technical and financial assistance from the Japan International Cooperation Agency, or jicA, from 2019 to 2024, embodies this commitment to inclusivity. As the project culminates, I commend the significant progress made and the compilation of best practices into a valuable resource. These insights, when integrated into the national education system, will pave the way for equitable access to quality education for all children. My sincere gratitude goes to jicA and the dedicated experts who technical and financial assistance for this impactful project. Your contributions will undoubtedly benefit the future of children in Sri Lanka. Thank you.
මීළඟට ජයිකා ශ්‍රී ලංකා කාර්යාලයේ ප්‍රධාන නියෝජිත යමදා තෙත්සුයා මහතාගේ ආරම්භ කතාවට සවන් දෙමු. Now I would like to invite Mr. Yamada Tetsuya, the Chief Representative from the jicA Sri Lanka office, for his remarks. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Yamada.
Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Cecile Premajayanta, Secretary of Ministry of Education, Ms. Vasanta Pereira, who is going to join later, Secretary of Ministry of Social Empowerment, Ms. Yamuna Pereira, who is, I think, also joining us later. Are you going to? Yeah, okay. Chairperson of the National Education Commission, Director General, National Institute of Education, Commissioner General, Department of Examination, Director General, Non-Formal and Social Education, Ministry of Education, and all the other officials from governmental institution agencies and principals of pilot schools, teachers, and zonal education officers, provincial department, representatives, and also we have some jicA volunteers joining us today. Thank you very much for joining us. Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is my utmost pleasure to be able to join this national seminar. This is a very important seminar to get together to discuss the education policy and practices that's related to the persons with disability today. As you know, UN Convention on Rights of Persons with Disability was adopted in 2006. The convention adopts a broad categorization of persons with disabilities and reaffirms that all persons with all types of disabilities must be able to enjoy all human rights and fundamental freedoms. In order to realize this concept in the real world, one of the most important measures is to strengthen education open to all, because education is the first stage for participating into the social activities. Japan ratifies the convention in 2014 and Sri Lanka in 2016. Since then, both countries have been taking steps to materialize the concept of the convention. In Japan's context, United Nations Committee on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities conducted its first assessment of the status of policies for those with disabilities in Japan in late August 2022 in Geneva, and issued its recommendations on September 2022. The UN committee urged Japan to end special education that segregates children with disabilities from those without, and called on the Japanese government to adopt a new national action plan on quality inclusive education. In addition to a recommendation to revise laws that currently allow for the extended institutionalization of individuals with intellectual or psychosocial disabilities, the committee also urged the government of Japan to do more to have an inclusive education for children who may have such disabilities. This is the status quo of Japan, and I think such status quo of Japan is somewhat similar to the context of Sri Lanka. Therefore, I think we can learn from each other and help each other to realize the concept of the UN Convention. The Ministry of Education in Sri Lanka and Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, started this REACH project from March 2019. And it is coming to an end this month. We call this project REACH SS, which is the acronym and represents the philosophy of reasonable accommodation for all children in Sri Lanka schools. Even in a difficult Sri Lankan situation, the project implemented numerous activities such as workshops, seminars, settings, and organizing task force meetings for inclusive education master plan, and so on, at 12 targeted schools in Colombo and Kurunega districts. It is great to note that through the project, a great deal of good practices have accumulated. The good practices are summarized in the case study booklet distributed today. Teaching and learning aids for students with special needs are collected and now available in National Institute of Education website. We are also finalizing other documents which are useful for promoting inclusive education approach, such as handbook for assessing students with special needs, guidelines on school infrastructure and environment, environmental arrangements, and so on and so forth. We hope that these documents will serve as a valuable tools and resources to identify more efficacious methods for developing the inclusive education approach for children with special needs at many schools in Sri Lanka. The project has established task force for preparing inclusive education master plan. Not only Ministry of Education, but also various institutions, including other donors such as UNICEF, World Bank, and Save the Children, and all the others participated in the intensive and extensive discussions and cooperated with us to finalize the master plan, for which I am so grateful to those who participated in the inclusive education master plan discussions. And I would like to commend the government of Sri Lanka for the new national educational policy framework that has been drafted through intensive and extensive discussions at various levels, starting from cabinet committee, expert committee, and seminars and workshops with many different stakeholders. The new national educational policy framework upholds the inclusive education as one of its cores. And we are glad that the master plan our project has developed is consistent with the new national educational policy framework 2023 to 2033. Based on the master plan, we expect various activities will be commenced from now on. Through our project, we learned that to promote inclusive education for children with special needs, not only the teachers, but also all relevant stakeholders such as inclusive education coordinators, principals, parents, students, community, etc., should understand the importance of all persons with all types of disabilities enjoying the education like others, and cooperate for easier access to education with friendly environment. The project showed good practices and created evidences that inclusive education is realistic and feasible in Sri Lanka. I am looking forward to hearing from key persons of the project today regarding their contributions and lessons to be learned for other schools as well. Also, I am very much looking forward to hearing the development of inclusive education master plan and how to connect the inclusive education concept into the current work of transformation of the education policy framework. Our project will be completed soon, but we are still at the start line, and inclusive education approach should be continued and sustained in both Sri Lanka and Japan. So we hope to continue cooperating with each other. In concluding my remarks, on behalf of jicA, I would like to extend my sincerest appreciation to Ministry of Education, Ministry of Social Empowerment, National Education Commission, National Institute of Education, and other governmental agencies involved in cooperating with us. And I would like to appreciate the project team headed by Oguchi-san and all the other members of the team and all the other stakeholders who intensively supported and participated in the activities to contribute to realize and promote inclusive education. Thank you very much for listening, and I wish you the successful national seminar today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yamada. The tagline for today's event is embracing diversity. Indeed, it encapsulates the essence of this transformative project, acknowledging the unique strengths and abilities that every child possesses, irrespective of their differences. Today, we embrace the richness that diversity brings to our educational landscape. අද උත්සවයේ තේමාව වන්නේ විවිධත්වය වැළඳගනු යන්නයි. ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම මෙම පරිවර්තනීය ව්‍යාපෘතියේ සාරය මෙම වචනවලින් නියෝජනය කරනවා. සෑම දරුවෙකුටම ඇති අද්විතීය ශක්තියින් සහ හැකියාවන් හඳුනාගෙන ඒවා වැඩි දියුණු කිරීමට හැකි උපරිම සහාය ලබා දීම මෙම ව්‍යාපෘතියේ ප්‍රධාන අරමුණක්. මෙම ව්‍යාපෘතිය අපගේ අධ්‍යාපනික පරිසරයට එක් කරන අලංකාරය මෙම තේමාවෙන් පිළිඹු වෙනවා. Now it's time to reflect on the achievements of the project and recognize the great work done by all the project stakeholders throughout these 5 years. මෙම වසර පහ තුළ සියලුම ව්‍යාපෘති පාර්ශවකරුවන් විසින් සිදු කරන ලද විශිෂ්ට කාර්යභාර විමසා බැලීමටත් ව්‍යාපෘතිය මගින් ලබාගත් ප්‍රතිඵල පිළිබඳ සමාලෝචනයටත් දැන් කාලය එළඹ ඇත. To present the achievements of the project, I would like to invite Mr. Oguchi Shuhei, the leader of the project. Before we continue with the proceedings, I would like all the representatives in the head table to resume their seats. ව්‍යාපෘතියේ ජයග්‍රහණ ඉදිරිපත් කිරීම සඳහා අන්තර කරන අධ්‍යාපනික ප්‍රවේශය ඔස්සේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ විශේෂ අවශ්‍යතා සහිත දරුවන්ගේ අධ්‍යාපනය සවිමත් කිරීමේ ව්‍යාපෘතිෙහි ප්‍රධානියා වන ඔගුචි ශූහේ මහතාට සහ අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශයේ නවීනමත් සහ විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපන ශාවකාවේ අධ්‍යක්ෂ නිමල් හෙට්ටිආරච්චි මහතාට ආරාධනා කිරීමට කැමැත්තෙමි. To present the achievements of the project, I would like to invite Mr. Oguchi Shuhei, the leader of the project for strengthening education for children with special needs through inclusive education approach in Sri Lanka, and Mr. Nimal Hettiarachchi, the director of the non-formal and special education branch of the Ministry of Education.
Good morning. Thank you very much for coming to our event. I'm so happy we have almost all of you here today. We've been working last 5 years.
සුබෝදෑසනක් ඔබ සියලු දෙනාටම අත්වශයෙන්ම අපිත් එක්ක අවුරුදු 5ක් එක දිගට වැඩ කරපු සියලු දෙනාමත් ඒ වගේම අනිකුත් හැම දෙනාම මෙතන ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්න හැම දෙනාමත් දකින්න ලැබීම පිළිගැනීම ගොඩක් සතුටු වෙනවා.
First of all, I would like to thank all the guests who come and also distinguished guests. Moreover, school people who we have been working and both are coming. This is the beginning of the school, right? So we are very sorry. We are having this event at a very busy time.
ඒ වගේම අපිත් එක්ක වැඩ කරපු අධ්‍යාපනමාත්‍යංශතු හැමදෙනාවත්ම ඒ වගේම අපිත් එක්ක ගොඩාක්ම ළඟින් වැඩ කරපු පාසල් වලින් අද පාසල් පටන් ගත්ත ගමන්ම ඉතින් ඒ එහෙම වෙලාවට පාසල් පටන් ගත්ත ගමන්වත් අපිත් එක්ක සහභාගී වෙන ගැන ගොඩක් ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා. අපිට සමාවෙන්න කියනවා. මොකද ඉස්කෝල පටන් ගත්ත ගමන්ම අද මේ වගේ වැඩසටහනට එන්න වෙන ගැන.
Special thanks goes to NIE media team. Who are really professional, and you can see you are surrounded by 4 cameras, and it is actually broadcasted now.
ඒ වගේම විශේෂ ස්තුතියක් ලබා දෙන්න ඕනේ ජාතික අධ්‍යාපන ආයතන මාධ්‍ය කණ්ඩායමට. ඔවුන් තමයි අද අපේ වෙනුවෙන් මෙතන ආවරණය කිරීම සිදු කරන්නේ.
Let me start my presentation. I will speak in English, but Ms. Nirmal will help translating into Sinhala.
ඔහුගේ ඉදිරිපත් කිරීම ඔහු ඉංග්‍රීසි භාෂාවෙන් කරනවා. ඒක මම නිර්මාණි සිංහල භාෂාවෙන් ඔබට පැහැදිලි කරලා දෙනවා.
Next slide. Next slide, please. Okay, next slide. First, I will talk about our project outline. Some are not very familiar.
අපි මුලින්ම අපේ ව්‍යාපෘතියේ දල සැලැස්ම ගැන මුලින්ම කතා කරනවා.
See the screen. So our project overall goal and project purpose are as shown.
ඔබට අපේ ව්‍යාපෘතියේ අරමුණ සහ මොන වගේ ක්‍රියාකාරකම් කරේ කියන එක ඔබට දකින්න ලැබෙනවා.
Sorry, I cannot see the screen. Can you move a little bit? Can you change the Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So through our project, we are supposed to develop inclusive education approach which suit to the context of Sri Lanka.
අපේ ව්‍යාපෘතියේ අපි අත්‍තරම අරමුණු උනේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ විශේෂාර්ථයෙන් දරුවන්ට ගැලපෙන විදිහේ අන්තකන අධ්‍යාපන ප්‍රවේශයක් නිර්මාණය කරන එක.
Okay, next slide, please. This is the, let's say, snapshot of our project.
මේ අපේ ව්‍යාපෘතිය දල වශයෙන් රූප සටහනකට අරගත්තාම.
As you can see, we work close with 12 schools, both in Colombo and Kurunegala districts, to figure out how we can achieve our project purpose in Sri Lanka.
ඔබට මේක පේනවා ඇති අපි පාසල් 12ක් කුරුණෑගල සහ කොළඹ දිස්ත්‍රික්කවල කලාප 3ක පිහිටි පාසල් 12ක් එක්ක අපි ගොඩක් ළඟින් ක්‍රියා වැඩ කළා. ඒ වැඩ කරනවත් එක්ක තමයි අපි මේ විදිහට අපේ ව්‍යාපෘතිය අරමුණ සාක්ෂාත් කරගන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ.
So we conducted various activities like workshop trainings, are also intensively visiting school to discuss and try to make something happen in the school.
අපි මේ ව්‍යාපෘතියට විවිධ වැඩමුළු සම්මන්ත්‍රණ ඒ වගේම පාසල් වලට ගිහිල්ලා පාසල් ගුරුවරුත් එක්ක කතා බහ කරලා විවිධාකාර ක්‍රියාකාරකම් රසක් කරලා තියෙනවා.
And through 2 years intensive work with pilot schools, we are now able to present our product, which we hope to be utilized for the national dissemination.
අපේ පාසල් 12ත් එක ගොඩක් අවුරුදු දෙකක් විතර ගොඩක්ම ළඟින් ක්‍රියා වැඩ කළා. ඒ වැඩ කරන අපි ලබාගත්තු අත්දැකීම් දැනගත්තු දේවල් එක තමයි අපි ජාතික සැලැස්ම වෙනුවෙන් සකස් කරලා තියෙන මේ අපේ ව්‍යාපෘතියේ ප්‍රතිදානය අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන රට පුරාම පාසල් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න හැකියාව ලැබෙවි කියලා.
I will explain briefly that what happened in school, how school changed, and what we developed.
ඔහු මේ වෙනකොට පාසල් මොන වගේ තත්ත්වයක් තියෙනවා අපි මොන වගේ වැඩ ක්‍රියාකාරකම් කළේ සහ පාසල් දැන් තියෙන තත්ත්වයක මොන වගේ වෙනස්කම්ද ඇති වුනේ කියන ගැන ඉතා කෙටියෙන් සඳහන් කරනවා.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, first of all, yes, I have to appreciate many times. They are the schools we have been working past 5 years. They are here today, so I would like to give appreciation to those schools.
මුලින්ම අපිත් එක්ක ළඟින්ම වැඩ කරපු පාසල් 12 ඒ පාසල් 12න් අපි මෙහි ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නේ හැමදෙනා අපි ගොඩක්ම ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙන්න ඕනේ.
Okay, next slide, please. Yes, many people are involved in this project, not actually limited to this organizational chart. But you can see basic structure. Our team with jicA office work with ministry, NIE, and also Department of Social Services and others.
ඔබට මේ පේන ඇති මේකදී අතන ව්‍යාපෘතියේදී අපේ ජයිකා විශේෂඥ කණ්ඩායමයි අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශය පමණක් නෙවෙයි අපිත් එක්ක සමාජ සේවා ආයතන වගේම ජාතික අධ්‍යාපන ආයතන වගේ විවිධ ආයතන අපිත් එක්ක එකතු වුණා.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, I will just try to show how our project went. So next slide, please. As you can see, we started project started March, and we had the first steering committee meeting, JCC meeting, in the 1st April. Then, as you can see, it's highlighted in yellow. Our project faced a series of unexpected events, including Easter bombing. Very sorry to talk about that. But and COVID, we all suffer from COVID.
මේ අපේ ව්‍යාපෘතියේ ඇත්තටම ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන්ම වුණ දේවල් අපේ ව්‍යාපෘතිය ඇත්තටම මුලින්ම ආරම්භ කරන්න ඒකබද්ධ හමිටු රැස්වීමක් පැවැත්වුණා 2019 අප්‍රේල් 1 වෙනිදා. නමුත් ඔබට පේන ඇති කහ පාටින් පෙන්ලා ඇති අපිට මේ ව්‍යාපෘතිය අතර ගොඩක් විවිධාකාරයේ බලාපොරොත්තු නොවූ බාධක මුහුණ දෙන්න වුණා. ඉතින් ඔබට ඒවත් මෙතන දක්වලා තියෙනවා.
Right after we presented the result of baseline survey, we are unable to work in Sri Lanka until January 2022. So during that time, we had to work from Japan online.
ඇත්තටම අපේ ව්‍යාපෘති ආරම්භයේදී අපි කළා මූලික සමීක්ෂණයක්. ඒ මූලික සමීක්ෂණයේ තොරතුරු දත්ත ඉදිරිපත් කරලා අපි වැඩ ආරම්භ කරනත් එක්කම කොවිඩ් තත්ත්වය නිසා අත්වශයෙන්ම ඔවුන් ජපාන් විශේෂඥයින්ට අත්වශයෙන්ම 2022 ජනවාරි වෙනකන් අවුරුදු දෙකක් පමණ වැඩ කරන්න උනේ මාර්ගගත ක්‍රමයකට ඔන්ලයින් තමයි වැඩ ගන්න සිද්ධ වුනේ.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, one before, please. Okay, thank you. During COVID, actually, the ministry took a very strong initiative to publish the first circular on inclusive education.
ඒ අතරතුර අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශය ගොඩක් වැදගත් වගේම ශක්තිමත් පියවර ගත අධ්‍යාපන අන්තකන අධ්‍යාපන වෙනුවෙන් ඔවුන් මේ 37 2020 ශක්‍රලේඛය අන්තකන අධ්‍යාපන විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපන අන්තකන අධ්‍යාපන ශක්‍රලේඛය නිකුත් කළා 2020 දෙසැම්බර් මාසයේ.
Next slide, please. Then, when we started the pilot project, what we have in mind is how to practice circulars in our project. We would like to try and error how what are mentioned in this circular can be realized. What are difficulties to achieve that?
අපි ව්‍යාපෘතියත් එක්ක ඉදිරියට කරනකොට අපි කලේ මේ ශක්කලයක සඳහන් වෙලා තියෙන ක්‍රියාකාරකම් හා සඳහන් වෙලා තියෙන කරුණු කොහොමද ප්‍රායෝගික ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න කියන එක තමයි අපි ගොඩක් අවධානය දෙලා උත්සාහයන් විවිධාකාර උත්සාහන් ගත සභාසාත්‍රිකුණ ඒ අරගෙන තමයි අපි ව්‍යාපෘතිය අපි කරගෙන ගියේ.
Later, Mr. Nimar will explain about the circulars. So let me go on with our project.
මේ ශක්කලයක ගැන ඉදිරියේදී අපේ නිමල් මහත්මයා විස්තර කරයි ඒ අතහැරලා අපේ ව්‍යාපෘතිය ගැන අපි විස්තර කරගෙන යන්න.
Next slide, please. Yes, then 2022 and 2023, we've been conducting various activities, and also, as Mr. Yamada already mentioned, we started new initiative to develop inclusive education master plan at the national level.
2022 වර්ෂවලදී අපි ගොඩක් විවිධාකාර ක්‍රියාකාරකම් කළා. ඒ අතරින් යමද මහතා සඳහන් කළා වගේ අපි පටන් ගත්තා අන්තර්ගත අධ්‍යාපනය සඳහා මූලික සැලැස්මක් නිර්මාණය කරන්න නැත්නම් මාස්ටර් ප්ලෑන් එක නිර්මාණය කරන්නත් අපි ආරම්භ කළා.
About master plan, data, Dr. Kumara from NSC branch will explain.
මේ මූලික සමය මාස්ටර් ප්ලෑන් එක ගැන ඉදිරි සැසියකදී අපේ විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපන නවීන විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපන ශාඛාවේ ආචාර්ය කුමාර මහතා ඉදිරිපත් කරාවි.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, next slide, please. Okay. Today we are at the very end of the project, national seminar.
අද අපි ඉන්නේ මේ ව්‍යාපෘතියේ අවසානයේ ඒ තමයි ජාතික සමුළුව.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, I just want to show some photos. This is how we conducted the survey.
මේ අපි මූලික සමීක්ෂණය කරගෙන විදිහ.
In 2019, we had baseline survey, and last year we had the endline survey. By comparing them, we tried to figure out what are the impact of our intervention.
අපි 2019 මූලික සමීක්ෂණය කළා. ඒ වගේම 2023 අවසානයේ අපි අවසාන සමීක්ෂණය කළා. අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා මේ සමීක්ෂණ දෙකේ ලබාගත් දත්ත තොරතුරු අතරින් අපි මොන වගේ ක්‍රියාකාරකම් මොන වගේ බලපෑම්ක්ද තියෙන කියන එක සඳහන් කරන්න.
Next slide, please. Okay, we conducted awareness raising. Next slide, please.
ඒකට අපි දැනුවත් කිරීම වැඩසටහන් කළා පාසල්වල.
Seminars, workshops, some are held online.
ඒ වගේම අපි විවිධ සම්මන්ත්‍රණ හා වැඩමුළු කළා. සමහර ඒවා අපි අතරම කළේ ඔන්ලයින් මාර්ගගත ක්‍රමයට.
Next slide, please. We had training in Japan in 2019.
2019 වසරේ අතරම ජපානයේ පුහුණුවක් පවත්වුණා.
Next slide, please. Okay, so in the very beginning, because we are talking about inclusive education, I feel I have to explain a little bit what we mean by inclusive education.
අපි අධ්‍යාපන කතා කරන නිසා ඉස්සරහට යන්න කලින් අපි මුලින්ම අන්තර්ගත අධ්‍යාපනය කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියන එක ගැන කතා කරන්න.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay. So, this is a very simple way of presenting what is inclusiveness or inclusion.
මේ අතරම අන්තර්ගත කියන එක පහදා ගන්න පුළුවන් සරලම රූප සටහනක්.
But just think in the context of education, the top left is exclusion. That means some people are already exclusively excluded from education, let's say. They have no access.
අපි අධ්‍යාපනය පැත්තෙන් බලනකොට මේක පැහැදිලි කර යනවා මුලින්ම තියෙන්නේ බහැරකමද එක්ස්ක්ලූෂන් ඒ කියන්නේ සමහර සමාජ සමහර පිරිසක් ඉන්නවා අධ්‍යාපනයේ සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම ඉවත් වෙලා උන්ට අධ්‍යාපනයේ කිසිම අවස්ථාවක් ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ.
Next one, segregation. They also have those who are excluded in the first picture has access to education, but it's totally conducted in a separate setting.
දෙවෙනිට අපිට පේනවා ඇති වෙන් කිරීම. ඒ කියන්නේ අර පළවෙනි රූපයේදී වටේ හිටපු පාට කට්ටියව දැන් අධ්‍යාපනය ලබා දෙන හැබැයි වෙනමම. සරලව ගත්තොත් අපේ විශේෂ පාසල් ක්‍රමය විදිහ තමයි සරලවම කියන්න පුළුවන් විදිහ.
Next one, between segregation and inclusion, actually there is another stage, which is integration. They are, let's say, learning in the same classroom, but those who have special needs are requested to adapt to the mainstream classroom. This is integration.
දෙවෙනියට ඊගාට ඔබට තියෙනවා ඇති ඉන්ටග්‍රේෂන් මත ඒකීකරණය. මෙතෙන්දි වෙන්නේ මේ කණ්ඩායම අපි පාසලට අරගෙන තියෙනවා. හැබැයි ඒගොල්ලෝ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපන ඒකක වලින් නැත්නම් සාමාන්‍ය පන්තියට ගියත් ඒගොල්ලන් ඒ දරුවන් කියන්නේ පන්තින අනිත් දරුවෝ විදිහ නැත්නම් පාසලේ සාමාන්‍ය උගන්වන විදිහට හැඩ ගහන්න කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ පාසල යන ක්‍රමයට ඒ දරුවෝ හැඩ ගහන්න කියලා තමයි ඒකීකරණයේදී ගොඩක් වෙලාවට වෙන්නේ.
Then finally inclusion, which we aim to achieve. Inclusion, in the inclusive setting, even though there are some students who need special support, they can learn with others without worrying about their specific needs. That is inclusion.
අන්තිමට ඔබට පේනවා ඇති අන්තර්කරණය. එතන ඔබට පේනවා ඇති කිසිම වෙන්කිරීමක් නැතුව ඔවුනුත් අනිත් අයත් එක්ක එකට මුහු වෙලා ඉන්නවා. එතෙන්දී වෙන්නේ මේ දරුවන්ට අවශ්‍ය විශේෂිත සහාය මම නැත්නම් ඕන කරන උදව් වෙන්න පුළුවන් සමහරට භෞතික සහායක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් නැත්නම් ගුරුවරයෙක් ලැබෙන සහාය වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ විශේෂිත සහාය ඔවුන්ට ලැබිලා ඔවුන් අනිකුත් දරුවෝ එක්ක පොදුවේ එකම තැන එකට අධ්‍යාපනය ලබනවා. මේක තමයි අපි අන්තර්ගත අධ්‍යාපනය කියන්නේ. ඕන වෙන්කීමක් වෙලා නැහැ. උන් අනිත් අයත් එක්ක එකටම ඉන්න අවස්ථාව.
Sending children into mainstream classroom is not the goal of inclusive education. School teachers and other people are responsible for providing reasonable accommodation for those who will learn in mainstream classroom. Otherwise, we call it dumping.
මෙතෙන්දී මේ දරුවන්ව සාමාන්‍ය පන්තියට එකට දානක විතරක් නෙමෙයි අපි අන්තර්කරණය කියලා කියන්නේ. එහෙම අපි ඒගොල්ලන්ව සාමාන්‍ය පන්තියට දාලා ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඕන කරන සහාය ගුරුවරුන්ගෙන් පාසලෙන් ශිෂ්‍යයින් ඒ වගේම පාසල් ප්‍රජාවෙන් දෙමව්පියන්ගෙන් වගේම ඒ පාසල් ප්‍රජාව ලැබෙන සහාය පන්තියේදී ඉගෙන ගන්න පාසලට ලැබෙන සහාය අපි ලබා දෙන්නේ නැත්නම් ඒගොල්ලෝ සාමාන්‍ය පන්තිය ඇතුලේ හිටියා. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ අවශ්‍යතාවවලට අපි උත්තර දෙල නැති නිසා ඒ දරුවෝ පන්තිය ඇතුලේ අත්හැරී දැමීමක් වෙනවා. ඒක සිදු වෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ.
It is easy to say, but it is very difficult. It cannot be done by teachers.
මේක අත්‍තරම සරල විදිහට දැක්කට ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න ගොඩක් අපහසු වෙන අවස්ථාවක් තියෙනවා.
Next slide, please. Okay, so try to make it simple. We think in this way. What does it mean for a school to be inclusive? First, increase opportunities for students with special needs to interact with other students in the school.
දැන් සරලව බලමු මොකද්ද පාසලක් විදිහට කරන්නේ පාසලක් අන්තර්ගත පාසලක් වෙනවා කියන එක මොකද්ද අදහස් කරන්නේ කියලා. පළවෙනිම දේ තමයි විශේෂ අවශ්‍යතා තියෙන දරුවන් විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපන අවශ්‍ය දරුවන්ට අනෙක් දරුවෝ එක්ක මුහුණු වෙන්න එකට වැඩ කරන්න එකට ක්‍රියා සෙල්ලම් කරන්න මුහුණු වෙන්න තියෙන අවස්ථාවන් ඉහළ නංවන එක.
Improve school facilities and environment, classroom environment, so that they can learn together.
දෙවෙනි එක තමයි පාසලේ තියෙන පහසුකම් සහ පාසල් පරිසරය ගොඩක් වැදගත් වෙන මේ දරුවෝ වෙනුවෙන් ඒ පරිසරය දියුණු කරන එක වැඩි දියුණු කරන එක එතකොට මේ විශේෂ අවස්ථෙන් දරුවෝ සාමාන්‍ය දරුවෝත් එක්ක එකට ඉගෙන ගන්න අවස්ථාව ලැබෙනවා.
And create a number of initiatives to promote necessary adjustment and changes for each student so that they can learn.
තුන්වෙනි එක තමයි මේ දරුවන්ට අවශ්‍ය කරන ඉගෙන ගන්න අවශ්‍ය කරන පාසලත් වෙන වෙනස්කම්. එහෙම නැත්නම් පොඩි පොඩි හැඩගැසීම් පාසලත් කරන්න වෙන ඒව ආරම්භ කරන්න හොඳ පියවරක් අරගන්න එක වැදගත් වෙනවා.
We call it best good practice. I don't use best practice. Each school has own practices, good practice. And we try to find and create those good practices through our project.
අපි මේ වෙනස්කම් පාසලට කරන වෙනස්කම් වලට අපි හොඳ භාවිතයන් කියලා හඳුන්වනවා. මේක එක එක පාසලට එක එක ආකාරයේ විවිධාකාර හොඳ භාවිතයන් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් අපි මේ පාසලවල ඔබට ගැලපෙන හොඳ භාවිතය මොනවද කියලා හොයාගනිවි. යොදාගනිවි අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
Next slide, please. Okay, so I want to show before and after.
දැන් අපි අපේ ව්‍යාපෘති ආරම්භයට පෙර සහ ව්‍යාපෘතියත් එක්ක මොනවද සම්බන්ධනේ කියන එක පෙන්වන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
Next slide, please. Okay, first aspect is infrastructure and environmental arrangement. And before and after.
අපි මුලින්ම පාසලේ යටිතල පහසුකම් හා පාරිසරික සැකසීම ගැන කතා කරන්න යන්න.
Okay, next slide, please. Yeah, you can see before and after. For example, when we find a student with very, very low vision, he was learning like this before, but with reading desk, he can actually study with a much better posture.
මේ පාසලට අපි යනකොට මේ දරුවෙක් හිටියා ඒ දරුවාගේ ඇස් පෙනීම ගොඩක්ම දුර්වලයි. ඔබට පේන ඇති එයා පොත දිහා බලන්නේ මේ සුඩ නිදාගෙනම වගේ. ඊට පස්සේ අපි යාට අඳුනලා දුන්නා මේ ලී වලින් හදපු රාමුව. මේ රාමුවත් එක්ක යාට පුළුවන් වුණා එයාට පහසුවෙන් ඉඳගෙන වැඩ කරන්න පුළුවන් විදිහට පොත තියාගන්න යාට හැකියාව ලැබුණා. පහසුවෙන් ඉගෙන ගන්න.
Also, school changed the classroom arrangement, also paved the way to SEU with the help of school community.
ඒ වගේම ඔබට පේන ඇති විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපනයේ පන්ති කාමරය උන් වෙනස්කම් කළා මුළු පන්ති එකට තිබුණේ. ඊට පස්සේ පොඩ්ඩක් වෙන් කිරීමක් කළා පාඩම් වලට පහසු වෙන. ඒ වගේම විශේෂ ඒකකයට යන මාවත පාර ඔවුන් ගල්ලාවලා වෙනස් කළා. ඒකට පාසල් සංවර්ධන සමිතිය ආශිර්වාද සංගමයේ සහාය අරගෙන ඔවුන් පාසලේ ඒකකට යන පාර පවා හොඳින් හදගස්සලා තිබ්බා.
Next slide, please. Yes, this is a very nice example. The school totally renovated the access route to the toilet.
මේක ඇතරම පාසලක් ප්‍රවේශතාව වෙනුවෙන් කරපු ලොකු වෙනස්කමක් විදිහට සලකන්න පුළුවන්.
There's a student with wheelchair studying in mainstream classroom, and it was very difficult before. Some people has to carry him, but now it is much easier.
මේ ඉස්කෝලේ ඉන්නවා සාමාන්‍ය පන්ති ඉගෙන ගන්න රෝඩ් පිට වාර්තා කරන පුතෙක්. මේ පුතාව ඉස්සර මේ වැසිකිළියට යන්න එයාගේ අම්මා හරි මට කවුරු හරි යාව පන්ති කාමරේ ඉඳන් උස්සගෙන වැසිකිළියට යන්න තමයි තිබුණේ. නමුත් දැන් ඉස්කෝලේ අර පොඩි තාප් මිත්‍ය කෑල්ල කඩලා ඒ වගේම අර රෝඩ් පුටුවෙන් යන්න පහසු වෙන විදිහට බෑරුම් එක රෑම්ප් විදිහට පොඩි පොඩි තැන් හදලා මේ දරුවට වැසිකිළියට යන්න ගොඩක් පහසුකම් සලස්වලා දීලා තියෙනවා.
Next slide, please. Yes, some changes in the classroom setting.
මේක පන්ති කාමරේ තත්ත්වයේ වෙනස්කම් කරපුවා.
Okay, next slide, please. Yes, so there are many schools who actually try to do something within limited budget, within limitation, and they are examples.
ඉතින් අතර මේ ගොඩක් පාසල් වලට මේ වෙනස්කම් කාර්යය ඇත්තටම ගොඩක් සීමා සහිත මුදල් ප්‍රමාණයක් ඒ වගේම සීමා සහිත සහායක්. ඒ වුණාට මේ පාසල් ඔවුන්ට තිබුණු සම්පත් වලින් ඒ ලැබුණු සහාය උපරිම ප්‍රයෝජනෙට අරගෙන ඒ වෙනස්කම් කළා තිබ්බා. මේ පන්ති කාමරවල ඔබට පේන ඇති දරුවන්ගේ අවධානය යොමු කරගන්න පහසු වෙන්න තිර ඇදලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම පන්ති කාමර වෙන් කරලා තියෙන මේ හැම දෙයකටම උන් යොදාගත්තේ පාසල් සතුව තිබුණු සම්පත් පමණයි.
Next slide, please. Okay, teachers' capacity improvement.
ඊළඟට ගුරුවරුන්ගේ ධාරිතා සංවර්ධනය.
Before and after. Okay, next slide, please. Yes, one of the big initiative is trying to practice IEP.
අත්වශයෙන් මේ IEP එහෙම නැත්නම් පුද්ගලවද්ද අධ්‍යාපන සලස්ම කියන එක ආරම්භ කරන එක ලොකු පියවරක් වුණා.
IEP stands for Individualized Education Plan, which means the teaching plan tailors to each student's needs.
මේ පුද්ගලබද්ධ අධ්‍යාපන IEP එක කියන එකෙන් ඇත්තටම අදහස් කරන්නේ ඒ දරුවගේ අවශ්‍යතාවයන් වලට ගැළපෙන විදිහටම සකස් කරපු ඒ දරුවා වෙනුවෙන් සකස් කරපු අධ්‍යාපන සැලැස්මක්.
It is not totally new to the country, but it is relatively new for, let's say, Kurunegara district.
මේ IEP කියන සංකල්පය ඇත්තම ලංකාවට ගොඩක්ම අලුත් සංකල්පයක් උනේ නැහැ. නමුත් කුරුණෑගල දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේද මේක ටිකක් වෙනස් හා අලුත් සංකල්පයක් වුණා.
So starting from the introduction of format, how to write, how to make it consistent, then how to practice to achieve the set goals. We try to sit by teachers and slowly but steadily working to introduce and practice IEP.
මේ අයිතර මේ IEP එක පටන් ගන්නකොට අපි මේක හඳුන්වලා දුන්නා මුලින්ම සලස්ම මොකක්ද කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ හඳුන්වලා දුන්නාට පස්සේ අපි ගුරුවරුත් එක්ක වාඩි වෙලා ඔවුන්ට මේක කොහොමද ලියන්නේ, මොන වගේ අඩුපාඩු තියෙන්නේ, කොහොමද ඒ අඩුපාඩු මගාරව ගන්නෙ, මොන විදිහට ඒක තව දියුණු කරන්න ඕනේ කියන උපදෙස් ලබා දීම හා සහාය ලබා දීම අපි දිගටම කරගෙන ගියා.
So now at the end of the project, almost all of our 12 pilot schools they develop IEP for all unit students.
අපි ඇත්තටම ආරම්භ කළේ එක දරුවෙකුන් දෙන්නෙක්ගෙන් විශේෂ එකක දරුවෝ දෙන්නෙක් විතර අරගෙන ආරම්භ කළේ. නමුත් මේ වෙනකොට අපේ පාසල් අපේ නියම පාසල් 12 විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපන ඒකකවල ඉන්න හැම දරුවටම වගේ මේ IEP නැත්නම් පුද්ගල බද්ධ අධ්‍යාපන සලස්මක් හැම දරුවටම වගේ සකස් කරලා තියෙනවා.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so we can now see there are many lessons, not like a plenary, same thing for every student, but based on IEP, teachers are providing same subject, but different topics according to the development of student.
මේ විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපන ඒකක අපිට තවත් දෙයක් ඒ තමයි දරුවා වෙනුවෙන් ඉස්සර කරන පොදුවේ හැමෝටම එක පාඩම පොදුවේ පාඩ කරනවා ඒ වගේ පොදුවේ ක්‍රියාකාරම කරන නමුත් දැන් මේ දරුවන්ට IEP එක හඳුන්වා දීමත් එක්ක ඒකට ගැලපෙන විදිහට එකම පාඩම ඒ දරුවට ගැලපෙන විදිහට ලබා දෙන්න දැන් ගුරුවරු ක්‍රියා කරනවා.
Later we have a panel discussion and there is a teacher, so we might be able to hear from her what changed.
අපිට ඊගාව සැසියක තියෙනවා සාකච්ඡාවක්. ඒ සාකච්ඡාවේදී අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන අපිත් එක්ක මේ සම්බන්ධ ගුරුවරියකට මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් අදහස් බෙදාගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි කියලා.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, joint activity and learning.
ඊගාට ඒකාබද්ධ ක්‍රියාකාරකම් සහ ඉගෙනීම ගැන.
Before and after.
පෙර සහ පසු.
Next slide, please. Okay, I don't want to generalize this, okay? Maybe this is some examples what we actually observe, but very often we see they are conducting same activity, but kind of segregated setting, let's say.
මේ ගැන අතන පොදුවේ අපි කතා කරනවා මොකද හැම තැනටම සමාන වෙන්නේ නැති වෙන පොදුවේ ගත්තාම ඉස්කෝල ක්‍රියාකාරකම් කරනකොට මේ දරුවන් විශේෂ අවශ්‍යතාවය සම්බන්ධ කරගන්නවා. නමුත් ඒ සම්බන්ධයට ඔවුන් ඒ ක්‍රියාකාරකම් ඇතුලේ පොඩ්ඩක් වෙන්වීමක් තිබුණා. ඒ කියන්නේ අවුරුද්දේ තියෙන අනිත්‍යත් එක්ක ඒගොල්ලෝ හිටියා වුණාට ඒගොල්ලෝගේ වැඩ ටික වෙනම කළේ. ක්‍රීඩා උත්සවයේ ඒගොල්ලෝ වෙනම ක්‍රීඩාවට තමයි යොමු වුණේ. ඒ වගේ ක්‍රමයක් තමයි තිබුණේ.
Next slide, please. Yeah, you can see mainstream students and unit students together doing same activity.
දැන් ඔබට පේනවා ඇති වේකක විශේෂ ඒකකේ දරුවෝ වගේම සාමාන්‍ය පන්ති දරුවෝ එකතු වෙලා එකම අවස්ථාවේ එකම වැඩේ කරනවා. වෙනවීමක් නැහැ. එකටම එකතු වෙලා හැමෝම පොදුවේ වැඩ කරනවා.
So we suggested lower primary grade mainstream classes. Sometimes unit students are the ones who guide mainstream student, very young student, to how to conduct such activities.
මේ සමහර ක්‍රියාකාරකම් අපි ගොඩක් වෙලාවට මේක කලේ විශේෂ ඒකකයන් සහ පාසල්වල පහළ ප්‍රාථමික ශ්‍රේණි 1 2 ශ්‍රේණිත් එක්ක මේ සමහර ක්‍රියාකාරකම් වලදී සාමාන්‍ය පන්ති දරුවන්ට ක්‍රියාකාරකම් කරන්න කොහොමද කියලා දෙන්න උදව් කරන්නේ ඔක්කොම කලේ විශේෂ ඒකකයේ දරුවෝ.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, reasonable accommodations in mainstream classrooms before and after.
දැන් අපි කතා කරන්නේ සාමාන්‍ය පන්ති කාමරවල මේ විශේෂ දරුවෝ වෙනුවෙන් කරපු හැඩගැස්වීම් සාදා ඉදහසවල ගැන.
Next slide, please. I don't explain very detail one by one, but we observe many students with special needs, not only in mainstream class, are supported by teachers, by their peer students.
අපි වැඩි ගොඩක් කතා කරන්නේ නැහැ. නමුත් අපි පන්ති කාමර නිරීක්ෂණය කරනකොට දැකපු දෙයක් තමයි ගොඩක් වෙලාවට විශේෂ අවශ්‍යතාවයක් තියෙන දරුවෝ ඉන්නවා නම් පන්ති කාමරවල සාමාන්‍ය පන්ති ගුරුවරු මේ දරුවන් වෙනුවෙන් හොඳ අවධානයක් ලබා දුන්නා. ඔවුන් වෙනුවෙන් යම් යම් වෙනස්කම් හැඩගැස්වීම් කරලා තිබුණා.
Next slide, please. Yes.
මේ තේ වගේ අවස්ථාවක්.
Okay, next slide, please. It is same student. I show the low vision student. He moved to mainstream classroom, still using reading board, but his peer student is carefully supporting him.
මේක විශේෂයෙන්ම මේ අපි අර කලින් කතා කරපු පෙනීම අඩු දරුවා ගැන මේ මෙතනත් ඉන්නවා. ඒ දරුවා සාමාන්‍ය පන්ති කාමරයට මාරු වුණා. ඒ මාරු වෙනකොට එයා අර රාමුව අරන් ගියා. කියවීමේ රාමුව අරගෙන පන්ති වැඩවලට ඒ අර එයා පන්තියෙන් එහා මෙහා යනකොට පන්තියෙන් එළියට යනකොට පන්ති වැඩ කරන වෙලාවට එයාගේ යාළුවෝ එයාට ගොඩක් හොඳ සහාය දුන්නා. පඩිපෙළ යනකොට අල්ලගෙන යනවා. වැඩ කරනකොට එයාට ලියන්න එක හිමීට ලියන්නේ. ඒ ලියන එක පරක් වෙනකොට එයාට මගවුණු දේවල් පවා යාළුවෝ කියලා දෙන විදිහේ සහායක් එයාට පන්තියේ ලැබුණා. අපි ඒක දැක්කා.
Next slide, please. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. Next slide, please. So I already explained briefly. We conducted 2 surveys to see the impact of our project.
අපි මුලදී සඳහන් කළා අපි සමීක්ෂණ දෙකක් කළා කියලා. ඒ සමීක්ෂණ වලින් අපි ලබාගත්තු තොරතුරු තමයි මේ.
Some changes are statistically proved and some are highlighted.
මේ දක්වපු සමහර වෙනස්කම් අතිපේ දක්ව වශයෙන් අරගෙන කරන සංඛ්‍යාලයක විදිහට පෙන්වන්න පුළුවන් දේවල්. නමුත් සමහර වෙනස්කම් අපි දක්වපු ක්‍රියාකාරකම් වලින් අපි දක්වපු දේවල්.
We see statistically significant changes in teachers' awareness towards disability. It means teachers are more acceptable to the notion of social model of disability, which disability based on the environment, not only individual problems.
මේ සංඛ්‍යාත්මකව අපි දක්වපු එක දෙයක් තමයි ගුරුවරුන්ගේ මේ දුර්වලතාවය ගැන දුර්වලතාවය ගැන තියෙන සමාජ සංකල්ප කියන දේ ගැන ගුරුවරුන්ගේ තියෙන අවබෝධය වැඩි වෙලා තියෙනවා. මොකද මේ දුර්වලතාවය සමාජ අවබෝධ ආකෘතිය කියලා කියන්නේ දුර්වලතාවයක් ඇති වෙන්නේ ඌනතාවයක් තියෙන කෙනෙක්. ඒ කියන්නේ යම් ආකාරයක ගැටලුවක් තියෙන කෙනෙක්ට සමාජයේ ඇතුළේ සහභාගී වෙන්න තැනකට ගියාම මෙතෙන් යන්න බැරි නම් දුරකින් ඇතුල් වෙන්න බැරි නම් ඒ සහභාගී වෙන සමාජ සහභාගී වෙන්න තියෙන බාධාව නිසා තමයි දුර්වලතාවය කියන එක ඇති වෙනවා කියලා හඳුන්වන්නේ. ඉතින් මේ සංකල්පය ගැන ගුරුවරුන්ගේ තියෙන අවබෝධය වැඩි වෙලා තියෙනවා.
Okay, also we observe through our lesson observations both unit teacher and mainstream teachers who has students with special needs in their classroom, their way of teaching is more inclusive after our project.
ඒ වගේම මේක සාමාන්‍ය පන්තිවල ඒ වගේ විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපන ඒකකවල දෙතනම දක්වා ගුරුවරුන්ගේ දරුවන්ගේ විශේෂ ආසන දරුවන්ගේ අවශ්‍යතාවයන් වලට ගැළපෙන විදිහට උගන්වන්න ඔවුන්ගේ කුසලතාවන් ඔවුන්ගේ ඉගෙනීමේ හැකියාවන් වර්ධනය වෙලා තියෙනවා අපි දැක්කා.
And some notable changes. I would like to highlight one change. Can you click? Yes. Number of SU students enrolled in mainstream class.
මෙතන සඳහන් කරන්නේ අපි දක්වපු සම්බන්ධ කළ යුතු වැදගත් වෙනස්කම්. ඒ අතරින් විශේෂම දේ තමයි සාමාන්‍ය පන්ති කාමරයට එකතු වුණ ඇතුළු වුණු විශේෂ අවශ්‍යතා තියෙන දරුවන්ගේ සංඛ්‍යාව ඉහළ යාමක් අපි දකින්න ලැබුණා.
In our 12 schools, it was very significant compared to control school, which we set another 12 school to compare how our target school changed. It was so different. It's almost triple. The difference is triple between control school and our pilot schools. The number of unit students who are enrolled in mainstream class.
මෙතෙන්දී අතන අපි නියම පාසල් 12ත් එක්ක අපේ තිබ්බ පාලක පාසල් 12ක්. ඒ පාලක පාසල් 12ත් එක්ක අපි මේ තොරතුරු සංසන්දනය කළා තමයි මේක ලබා ගත්තේ. ඒකෙදි අපි දැක්ක දේ තමයි අපේ නියම පාසල් 12 ඇතුලේ විශේෂ අවස්ථා දරුවෝ සාමාන්‍ය පන්තියට ඇතුල් වෙන සංඛ්‍යාව පාලක පාසල් 12ත් එක්ක බලවම ඉතා ඉහළ අගයක් අරගෙන තිබුණා. ඒ ලොකු පරතරයක් මේ පාසල් නියම හා පාලක පාසලත් අපි දකින්න ලැබුණා.
The reason I highlighted this will not happen only one stakeholder effort.
මේක විශේෂයෙන්ම මතු කර පෙන්වන්න හේතුව තමයි මේ වෙනස එක පියවරකින් එක ක්‍රියාකාරකම් විතරක් කරන්න පුළුවන් දෙයක් නොවන නිසා.
Like this, in order for unit student to move to mainstream class, unit teacher has to pay careful attention for the student to develop student skill to meet requirement in mainstream school.
මේකේ වැදගත්ම දේ තමයි එක දෙයක් තමයි ගුරුවරයා විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපනයක ගුරුවරයාට මේ දරුවා ගැන හොඳ අවබෝධය අවධානයක් යොමු කරලා මේ දරුවගේ නිපුණතා කුසලතා සාමාන්‍ය පන්තියට යන්න පුළුවන් මට්ටමට දක්වා සංවර්ධනය කරන්න විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපන ඒකක ගුරුවරයාගෙන් ලොකු දායකත්වයක් අප අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා.
Not only that, mainstream teacher has to deceive that child. Some school mainstream teacher reject, very unfortunately, to deceive such student. But mainstream teacher also need to understand the student and also accept they can learn in their classroom.
ඒක වගේම විශේෂ එක ගුරුවරයෙක් නෙමෙයි සාමාන්‍ය පන්ති ගුරුවරයාටත් ලොකු වගකීමක් තිබ්බා. මොකද සමහර පාසල් සමහර අවස්ථාවල සමහර සාමාන්‍ය පන්ති ගුරුවරු මේ දරුවන්ව පන්තිට ගන්න එක ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කරනවා. ඒ ප්‍රතික්ෂේප නොකර මේ දරුවන්ව පන්ති කාමරයට ගන්න මේ දරුවෝ වෙනුවෙන් කැප වෙන මේ දරුවෝ වෙනුවෙන් විශේෂයෙන්ම පාඩම් සැලසුම් ඒ ආදී වෙනස්කම් කරන්න සාමාන්‍ය පන්ති ගුරුවරයාගෙනුත් ලොකු දායකත්වයක් මේකට ලැබුණා.
And also the principal, primary section head, those people has to approve such shift.
ඒ වගේම විදුහල්පති ප්‍රාථමික අංශ භාර ආදී පාසල් ඇතුලේ ලැබෙන ඕන සහාය සහ අනුමත කිරීම අවශ්‍ය වුණා මේ වෙනසට.
Moreover, we observe many unit students, parents are unwilling to send their children to mainstream schools by saying, teacher, do not pay good attention to my child if he or she learns in mainstream classroom.
ඒ වගේම තවත් අවස්ථාවකට අපිට හම්බුණා විශේෂ එකක ගුරු මහත්මයෙක් කියනවා දරුවෝ යවන සාමාන්‍ය පන්තියට යවන අකමැති. ඔවුන් කිව්වේ මේ දරුවෝ සාමාන්‍ය පන්තියට යවුවොත් එයාලට ටීචර්ගෙන් හම්බ වෙන ගුරුවරගෙන් හම්බ වෙන අවධානය සහාය අඩුවේ. මෙයා පන්තියට මගේ ඇරෙයි ඒ නින්දා යවන්න අකමැති කියලා මුලින්ම ප්‍රකාශ කරපු ගුරුවරු හිටියා.
So we believe the number of unit students who moved from unit to mainstream class in our pilot schools mean a lot. It's not only one aspect, but many good efforts combined, it actually happened like this.
මේ ඒ නිසා ප්‍රථම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන මේ සාමාන්‍ය පන්ති විශේෂයෙන් සාමාන්‍ය පන්තියට ගිය දරුවන්ගේ සංඛ්‍යාව අපේ මූල ප්‍රධාන පාසල් මහිම පාසල්වල මේ වෙනස වීම අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන ලොකු ජයග්‍රහණයක්. මොකද මේක එක්කෙනෙක්ගේ මහන්සියක් නෙමෙයි පාසල ඇතුලේ හොඳ සහයෝගයකින් හොඳ කැපවීමකින් වුණ වෙනස්කමක් නිසා.
Okay, next slide, please. So this is image of our inclusive education approach. Here we would like to say not only focusing on one aspect of the school, such as teacher capacity only, such as raising awareness only, such as infrastructure only. We have to consider several aspects and try to intervene by combination.
මේක ඇත්තටම අපේ ව්‍යාපෘතියෙන් ගත මැදිහත් වීම වල රූපසටහන අපි මෙතෙන්දි පෙන්වන්න හදන්නේ ගුරුවරින්ගේ ධාරිතාව සංවාද කිරීමක් විතරක් හෝ එහෙම නැත්නම් පාසලේ යටිතල පාසල සංවාද කිරීමක් හෝ එහෙම නැත්නම් පාසල තුල ගන්න සහාය වැඩි කිරීම නැත්නම් දැනුවත් කිරීම වැඩි කිරීම පමණක් හෝ ඒ කියන්නේ එක ක්‍රියාකාරකමකින් විතරක් මේ ප්‍රතිඵල ලබා ගන්න බෑ කියන එක අපිට මේක පෙන්වන්නේ. මේ හැම ක්‍රියාකාරකම එකට එකක් සම්බන්ධ වෙන විදිහට තමයි කරගෙන යන්න ඕනේ.
Click, please. Yes. So like this, it is very important to consider multi-layers interventions, not only one aspect, but several aspects, and people who work on should have common vision so that it will bring a significant impact in the school.
ඉතින් මේක අපි සඳහන් පෙන්වන්න ඕනේ එක පොදු අරමුණක් වෙනුවෙන් පොදු අවශ්‍යතාවක් වෙනුවෙන් හැමදෙනාම විවිධ ස්තරවලින් හැමදෙනාම එකට එකතු වෙලා සහාය දැක්වීමෙන් අන්ත කරන පාසලක් ඇති කරගන්න පාසල තුළ හොඳ ප්‍රේණ ආකාරයේ හොඳ බලපෑමක් කරන්න හැකියාව ලැබෙන කියන්නේ.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so far I discussed about our project purpose, how we have worked with schools, and what kind of change we have observed. And now I want to talk about way forward dissemination to all Sri Lanka.
අපි මේ දක්වා කතා කළේ අපේ ව්‍යාපෘතිය මොනවද කළේ අපි මේ දක්වා දක්වපු දේවල් මොනවද පාසල තුල දැක්ම වෙනස්කම් මොනවද කියන එක ගැන දැන් අපි කතා කරන්න ඕනේ අන්නේ ලංකාව පුරාම අන්තර්ගත අධ්‍යාපනය ප්‍රචලිත කරන්න ප්‍රවර්ධනය කරන්න මොන ආකාරයේ ක්‍රියාවලියද තියෙන කියන එක.
Okay, next slide, please. First of all, we really appreciate the ministry take lead even during COVID to issue 2 circulars.
අපි විශේෂයෙන්ම මෙතෙන්දී ගොඩක්ම ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා වගේම අමාත්‍යාංශ විසින් ගත්ත පියවර ගොඩක් අගය කරනවා ශාකලයක දෙකක් නිකුත් කරලා තියෙනවා අන්තර්ගත අධ්‍යාපනය හා විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපනය සම්බන්ධයෙන්.
I would like to invite Mr. Nima, Director of NFSC branch of the ministry, to explain about circulars.
මේ ශාකලයක ගැන ඔබට පැහැදිලි කරන්න අපි නොවිදි මාතා විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපන ශාඛාවේ අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශයේ ශාඛාවේ අධ්‍යක්ෂක නිමල් මහත්මයාට ආරාධනා කරනවා.
සියලු දෙනාටම අවසරයි සියලු දෙනාගෙම විශේෂයෙන්ම අද මේ ජාතික සමුළුවේ
Thank you very much to all of you who this national convention. We respectfully welcome you all on behalf of the ministry. My duty today is to describe you about the circulation by the Ministry of Education. With regard to the publication, this circular can be considered as a milestone. After the inception of civil education in social line, unified education in 1971, the unit of special education was initiated in the Ministry of Education. And also in 1994, Sri Lanka agreed to the Salamanca Declaration, which promoted the inclusive education. 2020 circular. It was second. The circular was made with the patronage of former Director of National Education, Special Education, Dr. K. The circular states and promotes the concept of education for all. So 2020 circular aims to promote inclusive education throughout the island. And it enable all the students to have inclusive education. So all the students with special needs can study with non-disabled students in the schools. So the legal status has been provided with this circular. All the students, respecting the diversity of all the students and protecting the diversity of students, the learning and teaching methods can be done. So we can expect this circular to be one of the very important and one of the sterling circulars that we ever have. In the last couple of years, but this circle enables students to be schools with the it is very important to identify the students at their early stage. So they should understand, identify which special needs at the age of 3, and there should be three conventions, 3 seminars for those students. Because this circular, students with special needs and the parents of these children should be undergoing 3 seminars. The first seminar, the student, the parents will be given medical instructions and medical instructions on how to deal with the students. Human officers and will complete this seminar, and they will have to coordinate with the seminar. The second seminar will be special disabilities to education. Third seminar will assess the students, and they will assess the students, and they will decide how to including schools. So when it comes to circular, all the children will be identified, and then they will be given opportunities to study. So the students will be given opportunities to identify their abilities and succeed in life. Circular states the students who are sitting for the grade 5 scholarship examination support will be given to the student who needs to sit to the grade 5 scholarship examination. Students who are studying at the arts streams our stream should be allocated 3% quota for the advanced destinations. If we succeed, if the students can get 3 credit passes out of 6 passes out of 6 subjects. The students who are below the age of 3 given inclusive education in the preschools and preschools conducted by the social department. After identifying of students, the grade 2033 and number 33 of 2022 circular also identify the students with special needs. In the third seminar, all the students are identified. Committee and all the region. The assessing of the students will be conducted on in the regional level. The committee will consist of members of the Ministry of Education, the Director of Foreign Education, assigned to the special subject of special education, the teaching instructor for primary schools, special instructor for special education, and the senior one of the senior teachers of special education will consist of the 5-member committee in all the educational zones. So the students will be identified and they will be certified by the committee. 5 recommendations can be implemented, especially in case of identifying the abilities of the students and skills of the students will be done, and the students will be graded using several criteria. Students who are who obtain 0 to 25 marks, those students if the students are not in a position to study in schools, mobile teachers will be allocated to go to do homeschooling for those children. The students are obtained from 25 to 50. Those students will be provided education beyond towards education. So those students also will be conducted based on school. So it will be 25 to 50. Yeah, they will be provided, they will be allocated to special schools, or they will be given kind of studying a special need of the school. Teaching manual has been created. There are 85 lessons have been made. So in 2 years, the school, the students will be developed, and they will be, for 2 years they will be undergo a training period, and then they will be admitted to grade 1. Students who are from grade, who are from 50 to 75, they will also be undergone a special training. They will be assigned at the age of 4. They will also be trained in a special school or special need of a normal school, and they will also be undergone a 1-year training period, and they will also be admitted to grade 1 after 1-year training. The students who obtain from 76 to 100 will be will not be admitted to a special school. They will be admitted to the grade 1 to grade 1 of a normal school at the age of 5. In the meantime, the preschool and other facilities will be provided. Those students those students who obtain 76 to 100 3% quota will be given to all the students. So students who obtain from 76 to 100 will be admitted to grade 1, and they will be given opportunity to study in an inclusive educational setting with in a normal classroom. So that is what we wanted to. That is what the purpose of those 2 circulars. So the Ministry of Education is also trying to let the students with disabilities to study with with non-disabled students in a normal classroom. That is the objective of all these projects, and we expect that that is the ideology that we believe, and we expect that these opportunities have been provided for the students to study with non-disabled students. And because of this jicA project in the last 5 years, the Ministry of Education also had a good fortune to get assistance from various quarters, various communities in the world as well. Because thank you very much for supporting us, because you know that the students who are from age of 5 to 16 should be provided with the education. We are bound to provide the education for all students who are from the age category of 5 to 16. So the diversity of the students should also be taken into consideration to design it, and the opportunity has been created. The school environment and classroom should be made. So it is very important to give such an opportunity for the students. And also we expect that all the students should be given opportunities, and all the requirement or the necessity of providing the ensuring the education should be commendable. I think Minister of Service Department, the Health Department of Health, and all the educational institutions should also support in providing the education. So in the last 5 years, this program gave us a very good understanding on how to provide education, and we should be very thankful for the lessons learned with this project. Providing education facilities is very important, and the teachers will also be trained. And thank you very much for giving the training for teachers and other schools as well. Thank you very much for all of your efforts in this endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nima. Let me continue a few more slides. Okay. So in order for us to practice those circulars, we prepared following products, the 5 products. They are all available in Sinhala, Tamil, and English. Let me explain briefly one by one.
මේ අපි දැන් ව්‍යාපෘතියෙන් අපි ප්‍රතිදාන විදිහට නිකුත් කරලා තියෙන දේවල් ඒ ගැන අපි එකිනෙක කෙටියෙන් හැඳින්වීමක් කරන්න.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, guideline on school infrastructure and environment arrangement. This is newly issued as a circular of MOE.
මේ පාසල් යටිතල පහසුකම් සහ පාසල් පරිසරය පිළිබඳව නිකුත් කරපු මාර්ගෝපදේශයක් මේක මේ අවුරුද්දේ අලුතින් ශක්‍රලේඛයක් විදිහට 2024 විදිහට ශක්‍ර විදිහට අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශ විසින් නිකුත් කරලා තියෙනවා.
Okay, next slide, please. Handbook for Assessment Committee. This is signed by Secretary at the preface.
ඊගාට අපි නිකුත් කරලා තියෙනවා තාක්ෂේරු කමිටුව සඳහා අත්පොතක් මේක අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශ ලේකම්තුමා විසින් අත්සන් කරලා තියෙනවා මේක 33 20 22 ශක්‍රලේඛයට අමතර සහාය ලේඛනයක් විදිහට සකස් කරලා තියෙනවා.
This is actually the handbook to actually use this circular. And as you can see, we include some flowchart to make it visible.
මේ ශක්කලේඛය භාවිතා කරන්න පහසු වීමත් එක්ක තමයි අපි මේ අත්පොත නිකුත් කරලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ ශක්කලේඛ ක්‍රියාවලිය අපි ඔබට පේනවා ඇති ගැලීම් සටහන ආදී විදිහේ සරලව භාවිතා කරන්න සහාය ලබා දෙන්න තමයි මේක නිකුත් කරලා තියෙන්නේ.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, this is a handbook for promoting inclusive education. We are hoping this will also be issued as circular. I believe in each table there are 2 Sinhala copies for your review.
මේ අන්තර්ගත අධ්‍යාපනයේ ප්‍රවර්ධන කිරීම සඳහා අත්පතක් අපි මේකත් ශක්තිය විදිහට නිකුත් කරන්න කියලා බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. මේක ඇත්තටම අතුලත් වෙන්නේ අපි අපේ ව්‍යාපෘතිය තුල දක්වපු දේවල් මොන වගේ ක්‍රියාකාරකම්ද කියලා. ඔබේ මේස වල මුල මේස ටිකේ මේ සිංහල කොපි එකක් දකින්න ලැබෙනවා.
Basically, we try to explain what we have done in our project, and also we attach 4 toolkits which could be used for future training workshop.
අපි ඇතර මේකදී අපේ ව්‍යාපෘතිය මොන වගේ දේවල්ද ක්‍රියාකාරී කළේ වැඩසටහන් කළේ කියන එක සඳහන් කරනවා වගේම මේවරම් කට්ටට 4ක් එකතු කරලා තියෙනවා. මේ අන්තර්ගත අධ්‍යාපනය සඳහා අවශ්‍ය ක්‍රියාකාරකම් වලදී භාවිතා කරන්න පුළුවන් විදිහට.
Next slide, please. Okay, this booklet, I believe you all receive when you register. This is also published in ministry's website.
මේ පොත ඔබ හැමදෙනාටම ඇතුල් වෙනකොට ලැබෙන්නේ නැති විවිධත්ව වැළඳගම ටෙම්පරේචර් යුනිවර්සිටි කියලා මේකේ තියෙන අපි අර සාරින් සබ්බන් කරපු විදිහට පාසාවල වගේම පාසාවල හා කලාපවල දක්වපු හොඳ භාවිතයන් හොඳ පුහුණුවන් එකතු කරලා ලිපි විදිහට සකස් කරලා හදපු පොත් පිටසක් මේ ලිපි හැම එකම අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශ වෙබ් අඩවියේ ඔබට බලන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙනවා.
Next slide, please. Okay, we also developed teaching materials which are actually used in pilot schools, and the ideas we made it in a booklet, now uploaded in NIE website.
ඒ වගේම අපි ඉගෙනීම් ආධාරක ගැන පොත් පිටසක් සකස් කරලා තියෙනවා. මේ ගොඩක් සමහර ඒවා අපි ඇත්තටම අපේ නියම පාසාවලදී අපි දක්වපු ක්‍රියාකාරකම් වලින් ගත්ත ඒවා වගේම අපි එකතු කරපු දේවල් තියෙනවා. මේ පොත් පිටස ඉගෙනීම් ආධාරක 26ක් තියෙනවා. මේක ඒ වගේම NIE ජාතික අධ්‍යාපන ආයතන වෙබ් අඩවියේ ඔබට පරිශීලනය කරන්න හැකියාව තියෙනවා.
We really wish these 4 products will be useful and will be considered as the primary tools for disseminating inclusive education into all Sri Lanka, all island.
අපේ බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා මේ අපේ ව්‍යාපෘතිය හරහා නිකුත් කරපු මේ ප්‍රතිදාන 4 ශ්‍රී ලංකාව පුරා අන්තර්ගත අධ්‍යාපනය හඳුන්වා දෙන්නකොට ක්‍රියාත්මක කරනකොට ගොඩක් දායකත්වයක් ලබා දෙන්න සහායක් ලබා දෙන්න හැකියාවක් තියෙනවා කියලා.
Okay, next slide, please. Then, I will not explain detail about master plan. We will have another session. But as you can see, there are so many people involved in this development of master plan. More than 10 branches of ministry, and outside ministry there are many concerned agencies. They are present today as well. So master plan will guide Sri Lanka towards inclusive Sri Lanka. This is a 10-year plan with actions.
මේ අපේ මාස්ටර් පැහැදිලි මූලික සායස්ම ගැන අපි වැඩි විදිහට කතා කරන්න යන්නේ නැහැ. මේක අපි සැසි කිහිපයක් විදිහට ටාස්ක් ෆෝස් එකක් යන විදිහට තමයි අපි මේක සජෙස්ට් කළේ. මේ සහභාගී වුණ ගොඩක් දෙනා අද මෙතන ඉන්නවා. අපි මේකෙන් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ ලංකාව පුරාම අධ්‍යාපනය පමණක් නෙමෙයි. නමුත් සමාජයක් විදිහට මුළු ලංකාව පුරාම අන්තර්කරණය කියන සංකල්පය කොහොමද පතුරවන්නේ, කොහොමද ප්‍රවර්ධනය කරන්නේ කියන එක සහ මේ අවශ්‍යතාවයෙන් දරුවෝ වෙනුවෙන් පුද්ගලින් වෙනුවෙන් සහාය ලබා දෙන්න කොහොමද කියන එක ගැන ලංකා පුරාම අවධානය කැටිකන් සහ ක්‍රමවේදයක් ගොඩනගන්නයි මේ සඳහා බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ.
Okay. Next slide, please. The last slide. Okay. Thank you very much. I don't know how to appreciate all of your support to our project. It has been really nice 5 years for all of us, and we are honored to have worked with you until today, and we are hoping Sri Lanka to be more inclusive year by year, and let's see again in the future. Thank you so much.
I think මේ අවස්ථාව බොහොම ස්තුතියි. ඒ වගේම ඔබ අපිට ලබා දුණු සහයෝගය ගැන විස්තර කරන්න සහ ඔබට ඒ සඳහා අපි කොමුණ වගේ ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවද කියන පැහැදිලි කරන්න වචන නැහැ. ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම අපි අවුරුදු 5ක් පුරා හොඳ කාලයක් ගත කළා. ඔබ හැමදාම හොඳින් වැඩ කළා. ඉතින් අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා ඔය ලංකාව තුළ අන්තකරණ අධ්‍යාපනයේ අන්තකරණය කියන සංකල්පය වඩාත් ප්‍රචලිත වේවි කියලා. ඒ වගේම අනාගතයේදී ආපහු මුණ ගැහෙන්න ලැබේවි කියලා අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. බොහොම ස්තුතියි.
Thank you.
උගුචි මහතාටත් නිමල් මහතාටත් එම අනාර්ග කරුණු දැක්වීම පිළිබඳ ස්තුතිය පුද කරන සිටිනවා. එමෙන්ම පරිවර්තනයේ සහාය දැක්වූ නිර්මාණී මහත්මියටත් අපගේ ස්තුතිය. Thank you, Mr. Oguchi and Mr. Nimal for that informative presentation and Ms. Nirmani for the help with interpretation. සාදරයෙන් පිළිගන්නවා. Other than embracing diversity, another powerful tagline we are focusing on today is one step towards a more inclusive school. This signifies the commitment and progress made in reshaping our educational institutions to become more inclusive. විවිධත්වය වැළඳගමු යන තේමාවට අමතරව අද අප අවධානය යොමු කරන තවත් ප්‍රබල තේමාවක් වන්නේ මනවින් අන්තර්කරණය වූ පාසලක් කරා එක් පියවරක් ඉදිරියට යන්නයි. අපගේ අධ්‍යාපන ආයතන වඩාත් අන්තර්කරණය වන පරිදි ප්‍රතිනිර්මාණය කිරීමට දරන කැපවීම සහ ප්‍රගතිය මෙයින් නැගෙනවා. Special education unit teachers, principals, inclusive education coordinators, and school community members and the ISAs from the pilot school who contributed to make this change are the ones best suited to talk about it. මෙම පරිවර්තනය ඇති කිරීමට දායක වූ නියම පාසල්වල විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපන ඒකකවල ගුරුවරුන්, විදුහල්පතිවරුන්, IE සම්බන්ධීකාරකවරුන්, පාසල් ප්‍රජාව සහ ISA මහත්මීන් ඒ පිළිබඳ සාකච්ඡා කිරීමට වඩාත්ම සුදුසු වෙනවා. So without further ado, let us move on to the panel discussion on how has the school become more inclusive, moderated by Mr. Kohei Horiba. එබැවින් පාසල වඩාත් අන්තර්කරණය වී ඇත්තේ කෙසේද යන්න පිළිබඳ අපට අවබෝධය කර දීමට එම මහත්මීන්ට අවස්ථාව ලබා දෙන පැනල සාකච්ඡාව දැන් ආරම්භ. Kohei Horiba මහතා විසින් මෙම සාකච්ඡාව මෙහෙයීම සිදුවේ.
Right. Thank you so much, Nimesh. My name is Kohei Horiba, a team member of this project. So this session is to introduce how the school has become more inclusive. In the last session, Mr. Nimal and my team leader, Mr. Oguchi, has introduced what inclusive education is. Then the two step forward, the Sri Lanka needs to know how to make the schools more inclusive, right? So it is really not easy. But in this project, our pilot schools has become more inclusive. They produce some outcomes. So we invited some the great contributors to this project to speak out how they make these impacts. Okay. So my colleague, Ms. Ranganimis, will translate. Okay. Yes.
Today, yeah. අපේ කණ්ඩායම් නායක ඔකිචි මහත්මයා
Okichi and Mr. Nimal, they gave us an introduction. During this project, what are the experience that we have gained, as well as we are willing to discuss during this process of inclusiveness, creating the inclusivity as pilot projects, as people who are leading these pilot projects. We have invited principal from Ratnaloka and principal from Sumangala, also Charatnam, Mr. Charatnam also from Nicolarity zone, Visikila Bandara. Also, as well as from Ravata Special Education Unit, Ms. Indrani. Also, as a parent, also from primary section, we have invited also the school development parent, Mr. Manager. And we are going to talk about our experience. This is what our expectations are. Mr. Kuhio Oriba will be the moderator. Thank you.
So, thank you so much for coming out of your busy schedule.
බොහොම ස්තුතියි ඔබ මේ කණ්ඩායම් සාකච්ඡාවට සහභාගී වෙන්න පැමිණීම සම්බන්ධව.
So much for your participation and coming to this group.
මම ඊළඟට ඔබගේ
I'm going to ask few questions one by one. I would like to start it right now. I am going to ask Ms. Ananda, principal. I'm going to ask a question from the principal from Ratnaloka.
As a principal in Ratnaloka School, Kurunegala Zone, in 2020, I remember. Then after that, there was a great improvement. Then he led the reforms of the school really greatly. So I'd like to ask you, how can you become the schools more inclusive?
Should I need to translate? Yeah, we can. But, yeah.
I was appointed in 2010 to Ratnaloka College as the principal of the school. Afterwards, I made a lot of changes. I brought a lot of changes. Also, I took an initiative to bring about this inclusive nature. And yeah, let's talk about how you brought this change.
What kind of efforts have you made to make your school more inclusive?
What steps did you take to create this change? First of all, when I took over this position, there was COVID. The biggest risk was to teach them. The schools were opening and closing time to time. Also, doctors advise us not to open schools. And we thought about this, but yet we thought, how are we going to educate them? How are we going to give them the chance to improve their skills? And we thought of educating their parents, so that by educating their parents, our aim was to transfer that knowledge to their children. So by doing so, the parents are also facing many challenges. Most of the time, 95% they are going through many economic crises, challenges. They do not have enough technical equipment, neither mobile gadgets, and they're very poor. Therefore, based on the first-hand information we got, we created photocopies. And we carried out a pilot program and with the help of LLG Manike, and we demonstrated what could be done. And then again, the school reopened and we told them to come back to school. And only 50% could participate. Many of them have left the school. And I knew that we have to salvage this 100%. Our school is very old. We had space. What we did was we created a little bit of infrastructure in order to accommodate them, and we prepared a space for them, we created a space for them to live a life. During the COVID situation, we were supposed to keep them separated. One of the directors attached to the government ministry gave us 500,000 rupees in order to carry out this project. And because of this funding, we were able to initiate something. Those who couldn't walk, couldn't stand upright, we created an easy access, like preparing paths, creating a ramp, likewise. We made the pathway where they could go through that pathway using a wheelchair. The jicA officers also visited us in the first two attempts, and they also supported us. We only had a little room, 10 by 10. We moved from 10 by 10 room to 2020 room, and then with the country situation, with all the restrictions, we were not supposed to socialize. We prepared a situation, an environment where children will be enticed and they will be tempted to come to school. We created an environment where they will want to hang around. We created a little bit of space for them to play, also to have a little bit of chance to practice how to read and write English. Some of our professionals really put their total effort. This unit was done in such a way, this became very popular even to the national level. We created a circle, a friendship circle. Every child do have friends, children who are normal students. Those handicapped children did have, these differently able children did have friends from other normal classrooms, at least 5 each. Whenever they approach a school, we encourage them to support them. Even during the time of sports meet, there were 5 people appointed to care for. They were appointed, so we made sure that they are not getting isolated, and they've given ample amount of support in order to create a better well-being, mental well-being. We created it very convenient. Also, parents were encouraged. So by doing this, by adhering to this system, all what we did was to give them a secure and a happy environment. And all started talking about, especially parents, even the students, normal students, they started realizing the value of integration, inclusive, creating a background for them to integrate with the rest of their school children. And it's not that they also should have the chance to live a normal life to their fullest potential. This was the awareness which was spread among the society during the school. And there were so many requests. Ms. Hansika Mirani, with Ms. LLK Manike, the teachers, took initiatives to make this a success. And among the children whom we made work in this inclusive system, those ones who left from our school, he became so studious and he managed to get 78 marks. Also, a student who left our school from that unit and he was able to achieve 69 marks. They showed such a progress in their academics. Also, another child secured 58 marks. They are not weak children and they were showing enormous amount of positivity and they were capable of achieving those targets. Manisha Prahasani, and he took part in one of the singing competition. Also, somebody took part in para events. Also, Kanishka Bandara Bosara, he took part in a art competition in national level. He secured the place and he became one of the winners. I mentioned these achievements in order to just to share how effective our program was and what we have done through that unit. And we can say, though we had a lot of challenges, it had been a successful attempt. We do have about 12 students already. There are 12 more waiting in the waiting list. To accept those, to give them admission, we need to have teachers, those who are capable of handling and to teach them. Also to provide inclusive education, also to include technological approach. They are not actually exam centered. All what they want is to acquire necessary skills. Also to find a pathway, pave the pathway so they will be able to secure a job. Mr. Nimal Etiarachi, our director, he has provided us certain support. Also, we do have a teacher-child studio room. We need an isolated room with all the equipments, with audio-visual. We need a laptop. With this, every child will have the chance to spend 1 hour in that room by using those equipments alone. And we are willing to teach them how to do a programming or this is one of our targets within a given a short period. We appreciate your support which was rendered to us and regional educational director and directors. Also, those educational zonal officers and their service, they are willing to provide their service support. And they went through our unit and they encouraged us, appreciating after seeing our effort. Through Mr. Wushi, with the help of jicA, a huge sum of money was donated in order to prepare our infrastructure to create the room, to do the tiling. Mr. Yamada, through jicA, also funded in order to develop this unit. There have been many other funds given towards the improvement of this facility. This creating this inclusive environment is something new to us. We are in the search of finding more and more how to do it, how to mitigate problems, and we are we are expecting to create a better future for our children. Attached to our unit, we train them how to look after themselves, how to maintain their personal hygiene, how to prepare their own meal, a simple one. Also to prepare rice and curry. We are actually making a holistic approach, equipping them, giving them the necessary skills. Also, we encourage them to take part in every event that has taken place within the school, for concerts, for example. They also take part and perform. Sometimes some of the parents have volunteered in order to make it a success. When we were improving this unit, there are many students, many children are hidden in many areas in society, not being able to have access to these sort of supportive, inclusive schools. And they are limited to confined to dark rooms. Now they are also slowly coming out of their hideouts and they are trying to seek our support. And we believe that we will be able to provide the inclusive education even for those students who are left behind. As a nation, we have released 3 students. They have shown a good progress. Now, once they left our place, we do not know whether they will be able to reach out their fullest potential because they are beyond our attention, away from our attention. We expect your fullest support. We expect your support for our future attempts. I would like to thank each and every officer, supporters, every stakeholder, especially jicA, and I want to thank my heartfelt gratitude goes to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ananda. I heard that the more parents now wants to let their children to go to your school now. And also I remember that in 2019, in the very beginning of this project, we have visited your school before you have appointed. The unit class was so and after you were appointed as a principal, you switched that room to the more larger classroom. Then, as you now explained, there are so many improvements, so many things you make them happen. So as a result of those reforms, I believe that now the parents thought this school is more inclusive. Then the school can accept our children. So that's the changes you made, I believe. Thank you so much, Mr. Ananda.
You're welcome.
I think principal explained that he explained. Now the parents are also showing their interest and they would like to take part and they are eagerly waiting to bring their children to this unit. We were in a smaller room, but now we moved to a bigger room. So this is what you explained.
Correct. The project haven't provided the financial support actually. It was kind of the matching fund. They provided some tiles for your renovation of the units class. Just correction. Thank you.
අපි නිවැරදි කිරීමක් කරන්න ඕනේ. ඇත්තටම අපි සල්ලි දුන්නේ නැහැ ව්‍යාපෘතිය හරහා. ඇත්තට මේ පන්ති කාමරේ
just making corrections. They have not provided money, but they have provided certain floor tiles equivalent to a certain amount of money. That's what the support that they have given. I think there is a little correction is needed. Our floor was very damaged and children started falling. It is more than 100 years old. we tried to lay a carpet. We tried to cover patches and lay a carpet. During that time, I was told from jicA, what is the best solution that you are going to take in order to make this a livable place? And then I made them know the necessity that I had, and then they provided Roselle tiles to cover 200 square feet. They provided us with tiles to pave it, and with the support of our parents, we could lay it and do the job. Thank you.
Explanation. So can we go on the next?
Yes.
So next, the panelist is Mr. Jayaratna, former Inclusive Education Coordinator of the Swiss Mangala School, Nikawela Tier Educational Zone.
We are
going to talk about another former IE coordinator, vice principal, assistant principal, Sri Sumangala College.
The Mr. Jayaratna is the kind of the first inclusive education coordinator in this country. Before that, the circular in the previous session, Mr. Nima has just explained. Before that circular issued, he was appointed as a coordinator, then started his job.
Mr. Jayaratna, I think he was the first IE coordinator after the circular was published. Even before the circular was issued, he was actually acting as the IE coordinator. He's the one who's going to take part next.
Thank you for coming today. And you were working as a vice president of the primary section in the Swiss Mangala School. Then as an IE coordinator, what kind of efforts you have made? Can you explain?
Thank you so much for your participation and being here. As the assistant school president, principal, what efforts have you put into this in order to create such a change? Thank you so much. In our school, Sumangala, Varipala, I was appointed in 2019 for this, and I took part in this, and up until now, since 2019 up to now, when I took part in this, I started collecting information and I made myself knowledgeable. We call it mother's shade, Mausevener. Everyone uses that. And I started chatting with our teachers. And then daily we gathered there under the Mausevener, mother's shade. And we met the parents. While we were having this discussion, we took the teacher from the zonal educational office. We got his participation also. We started discussing. During the discussion, we identified what it is, who are being affected, what would we do, how do we do, and we planned a program. Also, we got involved Sudarshana Mandire Jnanodaya College, and I started participating, active participation in order to gain insight and to create the inclusive environment for the differently abled children. How can they integrate with the society? How can they live a normal life by integrating with the rest of the school students? And I dedicated myself. I planned something with the support of our staff. After that, in Kurunegala, subject direct. I started talking to him constantly. Sometimes I used to visit him to discuss about this. One time, I carried out a program to check the mission of the school students. Thank you, Mr. Nimal. From the funds provided by the Education Ministry, we were able to check everyone's eyesight. And the children from the special education unit, time to time, we started integrating them. And we started discussing and we started checking physical abilities and the areas where they struggle. For example, there was a son called Sitila. He see the son through media. He took that 5 scholarship program, and then he doesn't have legs, and he does have false legs. He was able to perform in this grade 5 scholarship exam. He doesn't have hands from his limbs. From the elbow, he does have a short arm. He managed to hold his pencil using his little arm. We started molding him from the grade 1. We created the environment. We gave him full support. I should mention our staff. From the time he enters the school, for the convenience, we made him to enter the first classroom that he could enter, which is near to the gate. And last year, we motivated, in order to give him more motivation, we appointed him as a prefect, student prefect. And then there was a big appreciation. Staff, even the watchman started looking for his well-being, check on him, started supporting, and I used to visit classrooms and explain the rest of the school children that we can be a little different. We are supposed to respect, we are supposed to support, we are supposed to create an environment so you will also feel comfortable. And I started educating them. As a teacher, I did my part. And then that pupil, who is called Sitila, he managed to secure 169 marks. Before the exam, I visited him. I told him, try to finish your exam well, and once you're done, I will take you to the President of the Nation. So far, I was not able. I have written about this to our President, even to our educational director, even to Mr. Nimal Vidyarachi. I would like to request, would you please pay attention so that I will be able to grant this promise. I want to make this child to receive the president, as well as creating this inclusive nature education. Mr. Nimal Vidyarachi has supported us. Especially, I should mention, also before Sitila, there was another student. He did the same thing full time, and he also made good progress throughout his education. He managed to get good grades in year 5 scholarships. We turned back home to in one room. Attempt is to create the environment so they will feel normal. They will also have a chance, opportunity to experience and to live up to their fullest potential. Especially, I created awareness amongst our staff members, art teachers, ACT teachers, also to prepare things which they could take part in. And give them equal opportunity and chance. This is what I encourage. Also, the teachers and students became very dedicated to give them also to make sure that they are being given equal opportunities. Students also supported, even the school support staff supported, especially I should say, why we were encouraging this? when you show encouragement, they also get encouraged. The other school, which is after year 6, is our next door. They do not have enough understanding about what we do. So we are trying to get other school also involved and create awareness. If they can keep their students after school and teach them, and some of the teachers question me, why are you trying to educate us by imparting the knowledge about how to manage disabled children and to be able to give them education? They say there should be special education teachers who are specially appointed for that job. But it shows the attitude and the lack of understanding. But we wrote a letter and we circulated certain messages to WhatsApp, and we tried to keep all the staff after school, and we were able to create a good awareness program, and there was a change in their attitude. Thank you so much for those who supported us in order to create good awareness. Also, the other school, when our students move from our school to the other school, they should have adequate amount of understanding and skills to carry it out continuously. How can they support? How can they mediate? These are the skills even the teachers themselves should nurture. About that, I should mention especially to secure a better future, especially every teacher. It is not limited to the special education teacher. There are many students that we come across in classrooms, those who are having many challenges, not being able to study properly due to various issues, physical and mental problems. Teachers should dedicate and should have general understanding how to deal with those. Now I can see there is a transformation in teachers' thinking. And to improve their lifestyles and their education, give good academics. Also, about this program, I would like to thank especially, as I mentioned before, I must thank Mr. Hemilarachi, Mr. Budasa, also everyone who is involved in jicA project, every person. When you enter to our school, it's you give us honor. We can see the honor, the dignity that you bring it to our schools. Thank you. We appreciate your presence, your advice, your support, and appreciating us. I believe that I think this project will be a successful project. I've seen many special things, good things have come out as its attempts outcome. I want to thank every official who's attached to jicA. Thank you so much for your dedication. And thank you that we are trying to bring them one step at a time, so they will have a secure future. As teachers, we do have a certain responsibility. Therefore, let's collectively do something towards the betterment of our nation's children. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jayaratna. So in the handbook we distributed today on your hand, in the first page, there was the articles of the Mr. Jayaratna's school, Sri Mangala. All the stories he mentioned is involved here.
I think you have
got this story of his school is mentioned.
Appointment of inclusive education coordinator is kind of the first challenge in this country. Then Mr. Jalatna's case is one of the most successful sample, I guess. Then to appoint someone who's capable enough to do that and who is good understanding what inclusive education is really matters, I think.
ඇතරම මහත්මයා මුලින්ම පත්වෙච්ච අන්තර්ගත ඒ වගේම තමයි මම පොඩට
Some schools, when we visit the schools, we ask the school community where the students with disabilities are, but nobody could answer to our question sometimes. But in Sri Mangala, there's a IE coordinator working very well. So he understands very well which class, what kind of children is learning, even in the mainstream classes.
ඇතරම අපි සමහරක් වෙලාවට සමහර පාසල් වලින් අහනකොට විශේෂ අවශ්‍යතා තියෙන දරුවෝ සාමාන්‍ය පන්ති කාමරයේ ඉන්නවද ඉගෙනුම දුෂ්කරතා තියෙන අය ඉන්නවද කියලා සමහර අයට ඒක ඇත්තටම කෙලින් උත්තරයක් නැත්නම් නිවැරදි උත්තරයක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් කමක් තිබුණේ නැහැ. නමුත් ඇත්තටම සුමංගල විද්‍යාලයේ ජයරත්න මහත්මයාගේ පාසලෙන් අපි එහෙම දෙයක් ඇහුවොතින් එතුමා නිවැරදිවම කියන්න දැනගෙන හිටියා මොන පන්තියේද මොන වගේ දුබලතාවයක්ද තියෙන්නේ මොන වගේ විශේෂ අවශ්‍යතාවයක්ද තියෙන්නේ නැත්නම් ඉගෙනුම් දුෂ්කරතාවයක්ද කියන එක ගැන.
Then as a coordinator, Mr. Jalatuna visualized the children with disabilities as a sample of the boy with the physical impairments. Then connect the people who are involved. That's the really good practice which the Sri Manga school shown.
ඇතරම එතුමා දැනගෙන හිටියා දැක ගන්න එයාට අවබෝධ කරගන්න පුළුවන් වෙලා තිබුණා විශේෂ අවශ්‍යතා තියෙන්නේ කොතනද ඒ වගේ අයට කොහොමද වැඩ කරන්න ඕනේ කියන එක ඒක ඇත්තටම අපි අගය කරන සාර්ථකත්වයේ පිළිබඳ අත්දැකීමක් විදියට අපි සඳහන් කරනවා.
Thank you again, Mr. Jaratna.
Excuse me, තව පුංචි අවස්ථාවක්.
He's asking for
අපේ
actually
අනිවාර්ය පාසල් අධ්‍යාපන කමිටුව
compulsory educational committee is there. This committee is implemented in time to time. The mandatory school committee is conducted in all these meetings. I info all parents to admit all this. I mean, give us a tip if there are any students with special needs. One such incident is also there in parents meetings. I always urge the parents to inform us with regard to children with disabilities. If there are disabled children who are at home without being given any education, we try to admit them to our schools as well. So we are doing aesthetic programs as well with the support of special needs children with disability as well. So we have to thank. I would like to thank the teachers in the special needs for giving opportunities and improving the skills.
Okay, shall we go on to the next panelist, Mr. Tilak, the ISA of the Kurunegal zone, please.
අපි ඊළඟ සාකච්ඡාවට සම්බන්ධ කරගන්න උත්සාහ ගන්නේ තිලක් බණ්ඩාර මහත්මයා නිකවරටි අධ්‍යාපන කලාපේ විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපන ගුරු උපදේශක.
Mr. Tilak was appointed as an ISA for the special education in 2019, and he's been working together with the project very closely.
ඇතරම එතුමා පත් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ 2019 විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපන ගුරු උපදේශකවරයෙක් විදිහට අපේ ව්‍යාපෘතියත් එක්ක එතුමා ගොඩක් කිට්ටුවෙන් නැත්නම් සහයෝගයෙන් වැඩ කරා.
So, Mr. Tilak, can you explain what kind of efforts have you made to make the schools more inclusive?
මේ මම ඔබගෙන් අදහස් විමසන්න කැමති යොමු කරන ප්‍රශ්නය ඔබගේ ප්‍රදේශයේ නැත්නම් ඔබගේ කලාපයේ පාසල් ගොඩක් අන්තර් කරන පත්‍රයට පත් කරන්න ඔබ ගත උත්සාහය නැත්නම් මොන වගේ ක්‍රියාමාර්ගයක්ද කියන එක ගැන.
බොහොම ස්තුතියි අවස්ථාව ලබා දීම this opportunity. First of all, I would like to tell that in is appointed as an instructor, as a teacher's instructor, and the project has also already been started when I was when I took my appointment. In most of our schools in the region, there are students the parents some parents told that all the teachers, all the students attended from grade 5 to grade 1 to 5. With children of education, our children education. So, in understanding this, we technical committees and we and so personally make the principals of the schools and teachers and children also big school. Education, when parents also time of children are also good and they also having good education because of the inclusive education to have that positive tendency schools selected in this project education and I also had plenty of experiences. I like to tell that appointed school education coordinator in schools, school, but also in other schools. I coordinated there. So a particular teacher should actually I coordinator should raise awareness among the teachers, school committee, and other parents as well. Previously, children will not study when subject to assigned to the special education. But today, but nowadays, the change, the narrative has been changed. So now the situation has changed, and our children in our zones also know. The IEP plan, the personal education plan was introduced. Our teachers did not use it. But now, because of the intervention of jicA, the IEP model is being used. All the teachers can do now systematic approach has been taken. So we are very proud for that, and they can use the technical expertise and they are given their financial support and technical expertise. There's a student who uses wheelchair, so wheelchair has been given. The accessibility made. So assistive technology was given. So thank you very much to all of you. Because of the Japanese aids, Quality and Kunagli also selected. Thank you very much for this opportunity. We like to thank Ms. Surangani, Ms. Nirmani, and Ms. Dilani. Thank you very much for working closely with us. And I think all of you have a lot of knowledge with regard to the English education. So without further ado, I conclude my speech. I wish you all a very good evening. Thank you.
Next to you, Mr. Tilak.
So
what I admire about him is his attitude is always like not like I know everything. He's like he will be learning continuously. I need to absorb more. So with his this kind of attitude, he find the good practices from his area and spread them to other schools. That's why in our impact survey, the Kurunegara has shown the most outstanding outcomes.
ඇතරම එතුමා මේ කොයි වෙලා එයාගේ තිබිච්ච ආකල්පය ගැනයි අපි ගොඩක් අගය කරන්නේ. එයා කොයි වෙලාවකවත් කියවෙන්න හිතුවේ නැහැ මං සියල්ලම දන්නවා කියලා. නිතරම දැනගැනීම යමක් අලුතෙන් දැන ගැනීමට එතුමා කැප වෙලා තිබුණා. එයා දැනගත්ත දේ කලාපයේ තුල ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න එයා උත්සාහයක් ගත්තා. ඒක ගැන අපි අගය කරනවා එතුමාට. So
in Sri Lanka, there are some more schools with no unit classes. So, but there are ISS like Mr. Tilak. They are the key promoters to of the inclusive education to those schools, I believe.
ඇත්තම තවත් දෙයක් තමයි ගොඩක් ලංකාවේ පාසල් වල විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපනය එකක නැහැ. නමුත් ගුරු උපදේශක මහත්මයාත්මීන් ඉන්නවා. ඒගොල්ලෝ තමයි ඇත්තම ප්‍රධාන නියමුවන් විය යුතුව තියෙන්නේ මේ කලාපවල නැත්නම් අපේ ලංකාව තුළ අන්තර් කරන අධ්‍යාපනය ප්‍රචාරය කිරීම ප්‍රචාරය නැත්නම් ප්‍රචලිත කිරීම සඳහා ඒක ගොඩක් ලොකු හයියක් වේවි ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Tilak. So,
Tilak Mahatmyata.
Please let me go on the next panelist, Mr. Indrani. Mr. Indrani, the unit teacher, experienced unit teacher in the Lawatawata school, Piriandara zone.
අපි ඊළඟට සම්මුඛ සාකච්ඡාවට සම්බන්ධ කරගන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපන ඒකක භාර වෙන ඉන්ද්‍රානි මහත්මිය අපි එතුමියට අපේ ප්‍රශ්න යොමු කරන්නයි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ.
So I believe her unit class is one of the class which shown the most significant improvements within our project period.
අපේ ව්‍යාපෘති කාලයේ ඇතුළත අපි ගොඩක් වෙනස්කම් දැකපු නැත්නම් දියුණුවක් දැකපු ඒකකයක් විදිහට අපි අඳුනගත්තා රාවතාවත් මෙතෝඩියස් විද්‍යාලයේ විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපන ඒකකය.
So, Ms. Inlani, may I ask what kind of changes do you think there has been taken place in your unit class?
ඔව් ඇත්තටම මම ඔබතුමියගෙන් අහන්නේ මේ කාලය ඇතුළත ඔබගේ පන්ති කාමරයේ ඇති වූ වෙනස්කම් මොනවද කොයි වගේ බලපෑමක්ද ඒ වගේ වෙනස්කම් ඇති කරන්න හේතු වුණේ කියන එක ගැන.
ඔව් ඇත්තටම අපි කලින් ළමයි
because of this program, we were able to assess each and every child. We were able to understand the level of competencies of every child rather than giving them one simple solution. So we were able to identify the likes and dislikes of the children. And we were able to uplift the level of skills of the students, and we were able to enhance them as well.
As you said, every child has different needs. They need a different level of support. So what makes you to identify that?
ඇතරම ඔබ කියන විදියට ළමයි විවිධයි ළමයිගේ මට්ටම් විවිධයි. ඉතින් ඒක වගේ දෙයක් ඔබට අවබෝධ කරගන්න මොන වගේ දෙයක්ද ඔබට හේතු වුනේ කොහෙන්ද ඔබ දැනුම ලබා ගත්තේ කියන එක.
අපි
In terms of assessment, we were able to understand the level of skills. We understood that one size doesn't fit all. Therefore, we were able to understand the different levels of competencies of children.
After we introduced the IEP, the Individualized Education Plan, you made great efforts to fill out those forms. Then, the step by step, your IEP has been improved. Then your contribution made some difference for your children.
ඇතරම ඔබගේ අර ආරම්භයට වඩා මේ IEP එකේදී ඔබ වෙනස් විදියට සැලසුම් කරගත්තා. එතෙන්දී ඔයාට පුළුවන්කම තිබුණාද ළමයිගේ වෙනස අවබෝධ කරගන්න කොයි වගේද දරුවන්ගේ වෙනස ඔබ දැක්කේ කොයි වගේද සැලසුම් කරගත්තේ?
වෙනස අඳුරගත්තා. ඇත්තටම
I understood the change. The timetable is also an example. That child only knows the pictures. When it comes to aesthetics, they can identify the music instruments of the picture. So there are students who can only understand pictures. Rather than give them letters and give them textbooks, we were able to use pictures in order to give them the knowledge. So all the children, actually, all the students wanted to do something. All the students did not need some sort of a work. Actually, they were enthusiastic to learn in whatever they can do. So that was the thing that we understood because of this.
You once explained to us that your students with disabilities become more willingly to come to the schools. The instruction changes can make these effects, do you think?
ඔබ කලින් එක දවසක සඳහන් කරා ඔබගේ පන්ති කාමරේ දරුවෝ වෙනදට වඩා පාසලට එන්න ගොඩක් ලැබිකමක් දැක්වුවා. දෙමව්පියන්ුත් ඒකට ගොඩක් ලැබි වුණා එක්ක එන්න වෙනදට වඩා. ඒකට ඔබගේ උපදෙස් දීමේ ක්‍රමවේදයේ වෙනසක් වුණ එකද නැත්නම් ඔබ සැලසුම් කිරීමේ වෙනසක් වුණ එකද බලපෑවේ?
අපි කරගෙන ගිය වැඩසටහන අඳුනගන්න දෙමව්පියෝ
The parents were able to understand the project that was done by us, and they also understood that what we are doing, the way that we were successful for their children, and we also even the principal was also very good because she was also very fond of these children, even the children in the school. The school had a good relationship with the children. They also catered to the needs of the students, and they also did not exclude the students. They always tried to include the students in almost all activities in the school. Therefore, the parents were also very enthusiastic. So it was a great experience for the students and parents as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Indrani. Okay. Can you go on to the next panelist? So, Mr. Nayanajis, the Secretary of the School Development Society of the #1 Primary School, Pirianda Educational Zone. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Can I translate? ඇත්තටම ඊළඟ අපේ සමුක සාකච්ඡාවට සම්බන්ධ වෙන්නේ ප්‍රීඩියන්දල අධ්‍යාපන කලාපයේ අංක 1 කනිෂ්ඨ විද්‍යාලයේ සංවර්ධන සමිතියේ ලේකම් නයනජිත් මහත්මයා ඔබතුමාගේ පැමිණීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් මම ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා.
So he is from the local community. Before he was studying in the #1 primary, then as a OB, he's supporting his the school.
ඇත්තටම එතුමා ප්‍රජා සම්බන්ධතා නැත්නම් ප්‍රජාවෙන් පැමිණි කෙනෙක්. ඒකට එතුමා පාසලේ ආදි ශිෂ්‍යයෙක් වෙනවා වගේම දැන් සංවර්ධන සමිතියේ ලේකම් විදියට කටයුතු කරනවා.
So first of all, can you explain the role of the Social Development Society?
පළවෙනි කාරණාව විදියට එතුමාගෙන් අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා මොකද්ද පාසල් සංවර්ධන කමිටුවේ කාර්යභාරය කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියන එක ගැන.
මට මේ අවස්ථාව ලබා for giving me the opportunity. I personally have involved in 2021. Actually, I was overseas and I came to Sri Lanka in 2021. When it comes to my role and the role of my committee is that we are maintaining the school. The government is providing the schools, the facilities for the schools, but because of the economic condition of the country, it is very difficult to the government alone to maintain the school. So therefore, the educational opportunities have also been restricted. Therefore, we are providing the necessary funding and we are supporting the school to maintain its physical infrastructure and resources. So we are fundraising activities. We are trying to fix the resources of the school. Our school is a prominent school which is targeted for grade 5 scholarship examination. So we are providing the infrastructure of the school. That is part of the community and part of the development committee.
In the beginning, I remember that in your school, there were almost no child with disabilities learning in the mainstream classes. So within the project, what kind of changes are there with your support? What kind of efforts have you made?
ආරම්භයේදී මේ අංක 1 ප්‍රාථමික විද්‍යාලයේ කිසිම විශේෂ අවශ්‍යතා තියෙන දරුවෙක් ඉගෙනුම් දුෂ්කරතා තියෙන දරුවෙක් අපිට සාමාන්‍ය පන්ති කාමරය තුළ හඳුනා ගන්න බැරි වුණා. නමුත් දැනට ඒ වගේ කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා. ඒ වගේ ක්‍රියාමාර්ගයක් නැත්නම් ඒ වගේ දරුවෝ දකින්න හේතු වෙන්නේ මොකක් වගේ තත්ත්වයක්ද?
පළවෙනි කාරණය ඇත්තටම teachers have understood that the students studying the special can also study the normal students. So they have identified the particular students and when spoken to the different people, these students can be classrooms as well. So now there are 2 teachers in this so they have a tremendous job. Providing facilities to classroom as well. Some because in school I have challenging for us to improve special education student with special needs or children with a disability to normal classroom because in our school most of the training for students targeting first course examination. So the parents and teachers pressurized as students with disabilities are also being added to the classroom because they thought that the students with disabilities should have been given a special treatment. So the parents of the other children, I also children themselves also were not fond of the child at first time, but we gave opportunities and we were able to control it. To the extent our deputy principals also worked hard to do that. Even our teachers in this classroom also did a commitment because we wanted to raise awareness of the parents. We wanted to mention the fact that all the children are children. So we are trying to normalize. We wanted to highlight the fact that we want to normalize the disabled students. That is, and we wanted to. We are trying to do it. We are trying to raise awareness of the community. So that's what we are doing.
So last week, may I ask you, what makes you so motivated to support your school?
එහෙම යොමු වීමක් නැත්නම් පෙළඹවීමක් ඇති වෙන ඔබට හේතු වෙන්නේ කුමක්ද කියන්නේ?
First of all, I would like to tell that two children are studying in this school. I have great love and admiration for my school because this way I have started my journey. So I'm at a good state in the society. I'm in a good position in society. So I personally help low-income schools in the vicinity, and I try my level best to support the needy schools. Because of the request of the deputy principal, I joined hand with this project. So I understood that our delegation of Japan and our officials are trying to go a certain journey. And we are very sad to see the pathetic situation of the country. These officers, these leaders are very talented individuals. They have very talents, but we are still considered we are still a third world nation. So most of the talented individuals are going to other countries. The brain is there, so I came here because of the fact that this country is ours and we can develop this country. It is us who should make the country with the country. It is us who should start to develop the country. So special education is a very important thing in a village or in a society. These the people, these students and these people with disabilities have been marginalized. So now these people have been coming to front. In villages, we have seen siblings of my friends who with disabilities. They have not been given a social recognition. All the education is there. They have not received education. In your childhood, you might have heard it. For several generations, we have been working and school like Japan in the tendency. I think in Japan there are large number of students who are studying these special education methods. So they are also supporting us to give us the standards and increase our standards facilities. So in our school, it was a very difficult task it was a really difficult task to conduct this project because we have tremendous commitment because most people and teachers are also training the students to grade 5 scholarship without just giving education. So it's a training for an medical exam. But we are doing it. I'm very happy to become a part of this commitment. Our principal and also there, so I would like to thank him. And also when it comes to infrastructures, the facilities of the students. So project comes to an end today. All of you might continue. And if the project this task continues, it will be of paramount importance. the Bengal College gave a special speech. I'm very happy for their commitment and their we sense from them. I think we can apply these lessons to our school and our lives. And give opportunities for the rest of the it would be of paramount importance and we go through a journey as we are a team. So thank you very much to all of you. I believe that we will be able to service. I think if we will continue, it will I invite our delegation to us helping. If you can continue this 1, 2, 3 years, if not, this will be there is a hard issue. If we say something so, it becomes naturally over. So so we don't have the motivation. So the motivation will change. So you guys get
so much, Mr. Jarapna. Actually, it is said that inclusive education is the best strategy for creating an inclusive society. That he's implementing this policy by himself. So thank you so much for all the panelists for your comments and the great messages. Really remarkable. And so the principals, Mr. Ananda, led the reform with a bigger vision. Then the coordinator, IE coordinator, bridges all the stakeholders and visualize the children with disabilities in the schools. Then ISA has spread those good practices to other schools. Then the unit teachers identifies the children's needs and how to respond to them. Then the local community support the school. So each of them is vital for creating the inclusive education. And please. That's right.
ඇතරම අන්තර්කරණ සමාජයක් ගොඩනැගීම සඳහා ක්‍රමවේදය තමයි අන්තර්කරණ අධ්‍යාපනය කියන එක. එතෙන්දී ආනන්ද මහත්මයා රත්නාලෝක විද්‍යාලය විදුහල්පතිතුමාට හොඳ දැක්මක් තිබුණා කොහොමද අන්තර්කරණ පාසලක් ගොඩ නගා ගන්න කියන එක ගැන. ඒ වගේම ජයරත්න මහත්මයා සුමංගල විද්‍යාලයේ අන්තර්කරණ සම්බන්ධීකාරක එතුමාට දැනගන්න පුළුවන් වුණා විශේෂ අවශ්‍යතාවය කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? ඒ පාසලේ මොනවද විශේෂ අවශ්‍යතා කියන එක ගැන. ඒ වගේම තිලක් බණ්ඩාර මහත්මයාට නිකවැරටිය කලාපේ ගුරුපදේශක මහත්මයාට තිබුණා ඒ දමන දබාගත දැනුම අනිත් කලාපවලත් එක්කලා බෙදා හදා ගැනීමේ හැකියාව නැත්නම් පුළුවන්කම. ඒ වගේම විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපන ඒකකයේ ගුරු මහත්මිය ඉන්ද්‍රාණි මහත්මියට හැකියාව තිබුණා. එයාගේ දරුවන් පන්ති කාමරේ ඉන්න දරුවන්ගේ විවිධත්වය තේරුම් ගන්න, ඒ විවිධත්වය තුළින් ඒගොල්ලන් කොහොමද සංවර්ධනය කරන්න කියන එක ගැන දැනගන්න. ඒ වගේම තමයි පාසල් ඒ කට්ටිය ගැන එකතු වෙලා පුළුවන්කම තියෙන අපිට ඉදිරියට යන්න. ඒ වගේම තමයි පාසල් සංවර්ධන සමිතියේ ප්‍රජා සම්බන්ධීකාරක විදියට මේ කටයුතු කර නැත්නම් කතා කර නයනජිත් මහත්මයාට තිබුණා මේ පාසලේ වටපිටාව කොහොමද ඒක කොහොමද අන්තර්කරණයකට භාජනය කරන්න කියන එක ගැන දැනුමක් නැත්නම් අවබෝධයක්.
So the inclusive education can be done with these collective efforts. So and we know that there are only the samples. We know that there are more the good contributors among our pilot schools. But then thank you very much for sharing your experience, really precious experience. And please, dear audience, applaud those contributors. Thank you so much.
හැමදෙනාටම කියන්නේ අන්තර්කරණ අධ්‍යාපනයේ සාර්ථක කර ගැනීම සඳහා හැමෝටම යම්කිසි දැක්මක් අවශ්‍යතාවයක් උවමනාවක් තිබුණා. ඒ වගේම තමයි මේ කණ්ඩායම ඇතුලේ මේ වගේ දක්ෂතා හැකියාවන් තියෙන අය බොහොමයක් ඉන්නවා. ඒ කට්ටිය එකට එකතු වුණොත් ඉතින් අන්තර්කරණ සමාජයක් ගොඩනගා ගැනීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් අපිට යම් පියවරක් ඉස්සරහට යන්න පුළුවන්. ඔබගේ උත්සාහයන් වලට ඔබගේ කැපකිරීමට ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා. ස්තුතියි.
Thank you, dear panelists, for sharing those wonderful insights and experiences. And thank you, Mr. Holga, for your wonderful moderation. And thank you, Ms. Surangani, with the help of interpretation. එම අපූර්ව අත්දැකීම් අප සමග බෙදා ගැනීම ගැන සියලුම සමාජිකයන්ට ස්තුතිය සහ හරිදා මහතාට විශිෂ්ට මෙහෙයුමකට ස්තුතිය පුද කරනවා. එමෙන්ම සුරංගනී මැඩම්ද ස්තුතිය පුද කරනවා මේ ට්‍රාන්ස්ලේෂන් සමග උදව් කරාට. මූලික සැලැස්ම ඉදිරිපත් කිරීම සඳහා ජාතික අධ්‍යාපන ආයතනයෙහි අධ්‍යක්ෂ ජනරාල් මහාචාර්ය ප්‍රසාද් සේතුංග මහතාටත් අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශයේ නොවිධිමත් හා විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපන ශාඛාවේ අතිරේක අධ්‍යක්ෂක ආචාර්ය ජනක කුමාර මහතාටත් ආරාධනා කර සිටිනවා.
සියලු දෙනාටම සුබ සන්ධ්‍යාවක් ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. අද දවස තුල ඉතාමත් වැදගත් අවස්ථාවක් කොට සැලකනවා.
I consider this as a very important opportunity because the Ministry of Education and the other ministries have joined hands together and this project, the magnificent success of this project is the master plan. Our basic plan is very important. So the reason is that point is that today we have gathered here and most important fact is why we needed inclusive education. Many organizations have joined hand with us. Many professionals and many government agencies are there. So I would like to remind one fact, that is, when we speak about inclusive education, most of the people speak about only about students with disabilities. Even today, most of the people try to conceptualize the inclusive education as being related to students with disabilities. Today, I would like to remind the fact that in terms of inclusive education, not only students with disabilities, but also all the students are considered as people who have special needs. Among them, there are several groups which are having special needs. When it comes to the school system, the students who have been marginalized due to poverty and who have been marginalized due to familial issues, due to the caste, religions, and other issues, students have been discriminated in the classrooms. These students can also be considered as students with special needs. So when we are drafting the master plan, we didn't only consider disabled students. So we have to understand the fact that the inclusive education is not meant only for students with disabilities, but also for all the students. Why do we need inclusive education? The first point is, whatever we do, still our students with special abilities, special needs are being discriminated in the classrooms. In the presentations of our principals and our teachers, instructors, we have understood the fact that based on scholarship examinations, based on all-level results, based on A-level results, our education has been targeted. Therefore, the students with disabilities, the students who have learning difficulties are subjected to be refused in the education system. They have been marginalized, they have been discriminated. So we are discussing about education for all, we are discussing about reasonable educational opportunities, and we have been discussing about education for all, but still the result is that the most of the students have been discriminated and refused. So we have to understand the fact that we have to stop students. Uh, we have to refrain the students from being rejected, and also we have to. You might have seen the team leader, Mr. Ogachi, when he was doing the presentation. The facilities were not allocated for students with special needs in the schools. A dilapidated room has been given to the as a special unit in most of the schools. So this has become a huge issue for people with disabilities. The disabled students have not been provided adequate desks, and the classrooms have not also been provided with important facilities. There's a very huge issue. The adequate facilities have not been given. The facilities have not been given, and therefore they have been faced with various challenges. And the next thing is that a special need a person child with special needs is also citizen of Sri Lanka, but we consider that they are they are a burden to the society, and we should only give them we have to see them in a charity angle. But when you speak to the disabled student, if you speak to a students with a special need, where they request, what they request is not your charity. They request your strength. They're asking us to pave the way for them to go their own journey. So, as professionals, as people, as citizens, our esteemed duty is to provide them with the relevant opportunities. We have to understand the fact that they are also citizens. They have the right to education as citizens. They have the right to education as citizens. They have the right to live as a citizen of this country. The next point is that we all always think that the student with special needs are not even able to do anything. It is the weakest thought. I'm very happy because I reminded our team leader that I'm very happy because our principal, two principals, and also our teaching instructor teacher who did the presentation has spoken that these children could do many things. As education professionals, we believe that we have been conveyed a good message that these students are well equipped with knowledge and skills to do certain things. Some students have passed the exams with flying colors. Some students are good artists, so they also can do something. Is the message that we get that we are conveyed. So as professionals, we have to understand the fact that fact. So that's why we need inclusive education to be promoted. Thirdly, and lastly, the most important fact is we have to promote education opportunities for the students. It's our responsibility. We are bound to. We are not bound to. We are not bound to support the abled students. All the times we have discussed that in any school, when a student is admitted to grade 1, when admitted to a school, the principal, the teacher has a responsibility towards providing and fulfilling the educational needs. After 11 years, we cannot tell that I could not teach these students. All the students, we have the responsibility to teach all the students. Therefore, enhancing education opportunities has become a must. Why do we need a master plan? Because I will have to tell a very important fact. That is, the jicA education project. I trust that being able to, the National Education Institute, the Ministry of Education, Social Services Ministry, health sector, all are working for the well-being of the children separately. The Ministry of Education think that education is only for ours. NIE believes that it belongs to them. Science colleges think that it is them. Ministry of Health believe that children are belong to them. We are working in a separate manner, but we have repeated the same task in some places, but students have not benefited. Children have not been benefited properly. Therefore, the magnificent victory of this project is being able to collectively work with all these institutions. While preparing this draft, we didn't work single-handedly. Various parts of the Ministry of Education, the Department of Examination, NIE, the Department of Social Services, Ministry of Health, including Family Health Bureau, gave contributions to this to create this master plan, to draft this master plan. So rather than competing with one another, we have started a collaborative work plan. So the basic purpose of drafting a master plan is to collaborate one another and work. In master plan, we were able to do something, and we were able to do. We had to understand how we can do it for the next 10 years. So the second point is the second necessity of having a master plan is to make a inclusive culture in the society. I know in this project, the former principal of the Vadapur Mangala College has told a very good speech. Even Dr. Asiri also stated that the assistive committee, collaborating and working is a very, very important thing. The principal in Porga College has done it properly. Other students have also been collaborated and to support the children with special needs. So that's how an inclusive culture can be built with the activities of master plan to understand the fact. Second, the next point is sharing the skills, knowledge, and attitude with regard to the education. We believe that we know all the things. We're working as know-it-all persons, but I think that this project, in drafting the master plan, we wanted the fact that to collaborate with one another. So while studying this master plan, you might feel that you would be able to do something. Next thing is attitudinal change. All of us think that these children cannot do anything. We always believe that. In the last couple of years, we have seen in some schools to change the classroom. Even the Secretary of Ministry of Education was not able to change the school. Even the Secretary or the Ministry ordered to give a classroom at a lower level, basement. Some school didn't like. Even they refused to have schools. So we wanted to do an attitudinal change. So to make changes is very important. If you can come on Monday to the unit, you can be able to see how parents are trying. because they are telling because the parents need their children to give a new world for them, because these parents expect to give their children a world, a better world, because we have to give a good world for them. We need to do an attitudinal change. That's how we can make a master plan. We have to do certain activities for this. The next thing is reacting and responding to the diversity. The basic theme of this seminar is embracing the diversity. If you can embrace the diversity and illuminate the lives of the children, it would be of paramount importance. If you can comprehend the citizenry that these children also can do something, it would be the most sublime aim of this seminar. So we expect you to work in this master plan and socialize. The next thing is, the next vital important fact is that we have invited the secretaries of the ministry. We have invited certain heads of the departments. We didn't invite them to conduct a function. Not the high ranking officers did not come. The people in the lower level came. Although we knew this, it would not help. It was very essential for us to do that, because I think the head of the department should know the master plan, because this master plan should be continued until 2033. When during 2033, the ministry or the department have certain activities. So the secretaries of the ministries and the heads of the department should understand the task that should be done by their own respective institutes. So we have invited all the directors and provincial directors. So we request all the 9 directors of the provinces and those who represented them to understand this fact. In Kurunagala and Nikartia zones and Kurunagala zones, Piliangala education zone, if they have proven that they can do something. So in your province, in your school, try to prove the fact that these students also can do something. So as a provincial director, you also have to socialize that fact. You also have to encompass that fact. As most of the officers are participating here, our secretary to the ministry, to the education, I would like to welcome her as well. Then I would like to go to the next slide. There, when we are drafting the plan, we have to understand who are giving us the opportunity.
This was not done alone. jicA also supported us when we were drafting this. We would like to thank the professional team of jicA, Oguchi, Lanka, and there's a team of people who supported us, also people from educational ministry, also the previous secretary and few other branches supported us in the preparation of this plan. Inclusion is something when we incorporate that to the ordinary classroom, science expert, maths expert, all these experts should bring in their expertise. Also, the education ministry do have a responsibility. We have spoken about that in what is been a plan in the master plan. There is a big contribution. They also should take in. Also, the education ministry, and they also do have a big role to play. Director General, I have taken the initiative and taking the lead role. Also, his PhD is also relating to that. Thank you for leading. In Western Province, in Wayamba, all the directors, also subject directors, those who have given their contribution, social welfare ministry, also the ministry NSD, also family planning. When we were creating this early childhood, the department who is working related to early childhood, also UNICEF, the World Bank, Save the Children Fund, those stakeholders also took paid their interest and supported us. When we move to the other slide, I have to remind, when we were preparing this master plan, we talked about 4 pillars. We made 4 pillars. We identified those 4 areas. The first one, approach and the participation and creating welfare, preparing welfare facility in order to build the infrastructure. The education ministry, social welfare ministry, they are going to give their contribution. Based on that, we have included many activities in our master plan. Also, giving a qualitative education, creating an environment to receive a quality education. Under that theme, we have taken many elements into consideration. I do not have time to explain everything. This master plan is done for 10 years. There are many activities included. Simply speaking, also, there is one thing that inclusion education, we need the support of all the experts into various fields in order to increase the capacity of those people who are dealing with those units. Parents, teachers, principals, we have to increase their we have to increase their strength, give skills. We do have another target to approach those universities so that through empowering those who are coming to the society as teachers will be empowered to how to handle these situations and to how to support these students in improving their education. Therefore, we are planning to include these field-related stuff into their curriculum so that when they come out after their degrees, they will be professionals who will know how to deal with those. Not only that, we have proposed to improve those who are already in service, those teachers, those who are in service, and to improve their knowledge. Also, those who are coming into principal's post, also all the officials who are working in close partnership with the schools to enhance their capacities and strengthen them. Therefore, in near future, we expect every organization will pay adequate amount of interest and dedicate Also, they will impart that and make a positive influence with other related parties. As I have mentioned, when we were preparing this inclusion education, we are supposed to create a culture. We have to make special effort to create such a culture so that they will take this into heart and they will be serious. So our efforts will be much more fruitful. We are moving to the next slide. Here we talk about when we were preparing this plan, we did have a roadmap. We prepared a broad plan about this route. What should be done? What should we do short terms? What should we do long terms? What could we do after 10 years? We recognize those points, aspects. Within a year or two, we recognize what activities should we put it into practice. We plan all that targeting the schools. The second point is midterm. Within 3 to 5 years, what could we do? We have recognized all the steps as long-term plans, starting from 5th year, from 6th year onwards to till 10th year. It has many activities. When we start from the beginning, we have to continuously carry it out till the 10th year. If I take this example, the examination board also do have a big duty. They'll have to be more methodical when it comes to dealing with children with special education needs. Those who have special education needs, examinations which are targeted those children has to be more flexible, and they should be given more chances. Also, the biggest contribution that we need from the health ministry is, according to 37, 20, 21 and 22, according to that circular, before their third year, they should put their best effort to recognize their challenge, which level that they are going through. Then, therefore, the health ministry has a big responsibility to recognize this child's level of health. Their answer was, we do not have adequate amount of doctors who are specialized in this. We are proposing, if we do not have enough special doctors, if we do not have at least MOH, doctor who is at the MOH should intervene and try to understand the level of this child, whether this child is a special needs child or a normal child. This could be achieved short term or long term. And also we have created plans for that. I want your attention to come to this. Now we do have a master plan. Then jicA will, their project will be over on 10th. They leave us and depart to Japan. They have requested us something. They have given us something, donated us something. Then what should we do? The first thing is we have to change our attitudes. Those who have come here, please change your attitude. You can do something to bring about a change. They also have the right to receive a proper education in order to win their future. I'm thankful for those principals who have come. I believe that what you have done, what you have initiated is very exemplary. We believe that you will make an effort to change the rest of the team members' attitude or the societal myths and norms that they are keeping their children indoor. Therefore, you have to spread the word saying that they also do have talents. The need is now you have to organize this in your organization, in your school. Once we are done, please introduce this to all the ministries in order to give their fullest support, partnership, take responsibility within 10 years in order to create a inclusion education to pave the path. And I want your active participation. So our master plan will be also shared among health ministry, social welfare division. Therefore, yours and your organization's support is needed. Take this message to society. You all have a part and parcel to play. You all have a duty. This is your responsibility. Every person, everyone can do something in order to succeed in inclusion education. In order to do this, what do we have? I'm going to tell. We do have a vision. I believe today we created that vision in you. Also, we do have a target. We should reach that target. There is a target in the master plan within 10 years that we should have a target. Within 10 years, we are going to achieve this. This is our ambition. I believe through jicA that we do have a good team. We used to do this alone, single-handedly, but now we are incorporated. I do believe now we all have a transformation, that we have attitudinal change. Can we do it alone? Yes, we can. I invite. Thank you, jicA, that you invited all the ministries. That is why we invited all the secretaries. Also, we invited all the heads of all the organizations, all the stakeholders. If we are aware, only we can bring about a change. Therefore, those who are present and absent, please do take this message from here. If you are the leader of your organization, carry this message to the rest of the members. Start something on your own to create an inclusive education, create a culture for every child, equal education opportunities. Then it is not what we are trying to do. We are trying to give similar opportunities, same opportunity, each and everyone, able and disabled. And we have to give the fair and just opportunity. We have to give them a fair opportunity. jicA has done a nice job. Children who have a vision impairment, they have done a nice job. They have only done a small thing. They have prepared a little platform, a frame, so the child couldn't see properly. It was prevented. Now the child doesn't have to bend. That frame has given a support so that child could see properly. It was a simple thing, out of compassion, out of understanding, it was done. I believe all the representatives, it's my humble request, this, yes, we can do. Start it today, right now. You can. Then I do not want to take a lot of time in this project talking about this. For 5 years. For 5 years, we have worked together with the representatives of jicA. It has been 5 years. End of this 5th year, we have gained so many things. More than I telling, I would like to hear it from all the teachers, all the principals who talked about it. I think I have done what I was supposed to do. I expect your fullest contribution to launch this master plan. I would like to thank all the representatives of JICA, and they have spent a lot of money. Please keep this in mind. Their wealth is spent for the well-being of Sri Lanka. They have bought it here and they have donated. Today, they have spent millions. What was earned in Japanese people in their country. Therefore, they have contributed by giving their hard-earned money, especially all those who have worked, Mr. Oguchi, Peruba. I would like to give my heartfelt gratitude to all those who worked tirelessly. Also, we expect if we can get your support, technical support, to launch this master plan. Therefore, earnestly, I urge not to leave us alone. Though this is coming to an end on 9th, but please do stay with us. Therefore, I urge this from JICA. Also, all those who have come from representatives of other ministries, also all the zonal directors. We need your support, your contribution. I best all the good future for all of you. Thank you.
අපේ මීළඟට මාස්ටර් ප්ලෑන් එකේ අපිට මූලිකත්වයේ දායකත්වය
Next, National Education Institute, they were the other stakeholders who supported us. I'm calling upon Professor Setunga.
Madam Vasanta Pereira,
Madam
Honorable
Vasanta
Secretary
Pereira.
to the Ministry of Education,
Adhyapana.
Chairperson of the Council of the National Institute of Education, my boss, and all the dignitaries from the JICA team, lead consultant Mr. Oguchi, and provincial representatives and ministry representatives, all the stakeholders. I think I would speak in Sinhala. The slides are in English. I think maybe I can do it bilingual. අපි කවුරුත් දන්නවා දැන් මේ ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එකේ නම මම වැඩි කතා කරන්න යන්නේ නැහැ පොයින්ට් දෙකක් තුනක් විතරයි මම මෙතන අවධාරණය කරන්නේ. මම හිතුවා කරුණු කීපයක් කතා
I would
කරන්න
like
මේ අපි
to talk about, share a few remarks. By 2030, Sustainable Development Goals, we are in that. We are committed to achieve Sustainable Development Goals. And then what they have introduced through the project, the deliverables, I'm just going to talk about that. As we all know, the 4th goal of the SDG, this is there are so many things hidden. When we talk about inclusivity, there are many things coming under. We should have a good approach. How we have planned to achieve these SDGs by 2030. Truly, under their project. This is just actually a sector development goal plan. This is a very good plan. This was done to 2025. It was done for sectoral development. What was done through jicA was done in parallel to that. Also, they have taken into consideration all the key trust areas. So, National Educational Institute also have their agenda, something parallel to that. We have been talking about the new policy. Under this framework, there are two statements about inclusive education. There are three main segments: teaching, learning, and credentialing. Teaching, learning, and credentialing comes under National Teaching Institute. As we are expecting, the main thing the Educational Ministry expect is the other 18, the governance and investments and resources, the 18. They are expecting a transformation in those areas. Under the 15th SDG, it says inclusive learning approaches facilitated to benefit students with special needs. It has elaborated under point 625. In this is where we fit in. The master plan fits into 6.25. This is where we have, this is what is fitting into proposed by the National Education Policy. If we talked about this, we did understand. Also, with another team, I wrote two findings. Also, I published it on a certain web page. As they have also understood, this is a nice circular which we could adapt for the country's education. This talks about what is there, what is already existing as a special education unit, using methods to integrate to the normal education system. As we have heard, these are marginalized units and they were not taken into consideration, not given much of opportunities. But now we are proposing under this to integrate. According to the teachers' modules and equipments, we are now wondering whether we could bring about a change. Also, based on this, now we are trying to merge it. We are given a little time period to tell them, explain them what we have discussed and what we have decided. From 2019, National Educational Institute has been occupied, busy with that. Now this is the right time. As I mentioned before, these are the 4 pillars. On these four pillars, we have to see where National Institute of Education fits in where. That fits into the pillar 3. This is where we could partnership or join. As I have studied, we National Institute of Education could partnership in 3rd pillar. I took part in this. I would like to shed little more light. This talks about how could we join partnership. So they are talking about 3 layers. We even can obtain all the good practices which are already adopted from the grassroots level. We should appreciate those. Other than these 2 circulars, we have to study that well, and we have to give a supplementary document which is a practical one. We have discussed with these 2, IEP and ID, and we have uploaded that material. There's another important thing that we have talked about. We have introduced individual education plan. Personally, teaching, this is what they have thought about, and they are thinking of how to launch this, implement this, to take it further. There are many challenges. These are what we are going to mitigate. According to the new circular, that's what they have tried to mitigate all the challenges, especially when carrying out exams. And they're trying to introduce a curricula when we release a new curricula, but there will be a lot of opposition, objections, but I say not to do so. When children are fed up with the previous handling a lot of content, they'll question the teacher. Now, I would encourage a teacher should observe and read and make themselves thorough. They should be prepared to go through those materials. Therefore, that's one of my requests in this presentation. We have to do it with discipline. We have to let others work. It is something which is workable. Collectively, we can do it. Therefore, lastly, this was our research. We have talked about many of these materials. This handbook and the circular, after the change, this circular is very important. We have to evaluate and compare and see. As National Education Institute, I would like to show our website. When you log into our website, you will get to see some of, you will be able to have access to materials which will be useful for special education teachers. It will explain how. I encourage you to use it. This is not just done, this was done from the grassroots level with a lot of hard work. I think we are giving you a clear message. As the Major General of National Education Institute, as somebody who took part in this, we truly spoke about all this. I would like to invite all the to embrace the deliverables. Miss Padmini. Miss Padmini said talk in Japanese.
本当にお礼を申し上げたいと思います。今まで行ってきたいろんなプロジェクトの中で、みんなと一緒になってコラボレーションを優先してやってきたプロジェクトでもありますし、グラスルートレベルからその実際のグッドプラクティセスを出してきて、それをベースに提案するというやり方は、他の援助団体にもいい勉強だと思いますし、本当にありがとうございました。
ජාතික ව්‍යාප්තිය සඳහා මූලික සැලැස්ම පිළිබඳ සිදු කළ එම විශිෂ්ට පැහැදිලි කිරීම පිළිබඳ ආචාර්ය ජනක කුමාර මහතාටත් මහාචාර්ය ප්‍රසාද් සේතුංග මහතාටත් ස්තුතිය පුද කරනවා. Thank you Professor Setunga and Dr. Kumara for that insightful presentation. Before we continue, I would like to warmly welcome the Secretary of the Ministry of Education on behalf of the project. රීච් ව්‍යාපෘතිය වෙනුවෙන් අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශ ලේකම් වසන්තා පෙරේරා මහත්මිය සාදරයෙන් පිළිගැනීමට කැමැත්තෙමු. ව්‍යාපෘතිය සාර්ථක අවසන් කිරීමට අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශ ලේකම්තුමිය අපට සුවිශේෂී සහයෝගයක් ලබා දුන්නා. The Secretary Madam extended her support for the successful completion of the project. අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශ ලේකම්තුමිය ලේකම්තුමියට අප සමග අදහස් බෙදා ගැනීමට මම සතුටින් ආරාධනා කර සිටිනවා. Now I would like to cordially invite Secretary of the Ministry of Education, Ms. Vasanta Perera, to share her remarks.
Thank you, Nimesh. Good afternoon, and I'm sorry I was not able to be here in the morning to see my friend Mr. Yamada-san. And I'm glad to see you, Ide-san, here, and Professor Setunga, Dr. Kumara, Ide-san, Oguchi-san, Horiba-san, and all the colleagues, all the friends of jicA, and the ministry officials, the other officials who have come from Health Ministry, Family Health Bureau, Department of Education, Department of Examination, and Provincial Education Authorities, school principals, and everybody, ladies and gentlemen. මම ඉංග්‍රීසි භාෂාවෙනුත් කතා කරන්න හිතුවේ. දැන් අපේ මහාචාර්ය සේතුංග මැතිතුමා සාධාරණයක් ඉෂ්ට කරා මෙතෙක් වෙලා ඉන්ටර්ප්‍රිටේෂන් වලට හුම්කන් දීදී හිටපු අපේ ජපාන් සහෝදරයන් වෙනුවෙන්. ඒ නිසා ඉන්ටර්ප්‍රිටර්ට පොඩි විවේකයක් දෙන්න මම ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් පොඩ්ඩක් කියන්නම් කියලා හිතුවා. So the interpreter can have a small rest. Okay. Now, first and foremost, let me thank jicA, all our friends from jicA, for being with us and through the REACH project to strengthen our education for children with special needs. Here, when you take a child with special needs, we are thinking of a disability. Either blind, deaf, or, can't walk or something, some kind of disability. But in inclusive education, my kind of definition, Professor, I may be wrong, but my kind of definition for inclusive education covers all of us. Covers all of us. If you ask a question in this forum, some people will promptly answer, some will be, reluctant to answer, some will never be answering. Then, අන්තර්කරණ අධ්‍යාපනය කියන්නේ මම දකින හැටියට අන්ධ ගොළු බිහිරි හෝ වෙනත් disability එකක් තියෙන ඇවිදින්න බැරි හරි කකුලක් නැති හරි මොකක් හරි තියෙන අය ගන්න එක පමණක්ම නෙවෙයි. අපි 5 දෙනා ගත්තොත් අපි 5 දෙනාගේ යම් යම් විෂයන්ට තියෙන ඇබිලිටි එක වෙනස්. උස් පහත් වශයෙන් වෙනත් විෂයක් ගත්තොත් ඒක ඊට වඩා වෙනස්. ඒ වගේම අපි මෙතන ඉන්න හැමෝගෙම ඒ ඇබිලිටි එක නොඑක ආකාරයට වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. පන්ති කාමරයේ දරුවත් අන්න ඒ වගේ. Physically he may be a perfect child. Mentally he may be a perfect child. But you know, some will be very, forward and some will be will not be like that. ඉතින් අපි හැමෝම එකට අරගෙන if we can get all of them together in decision making or do whatever the activity that we do, that is inclusive education for me. සමහර වෙලාවට අපි ස්පෙෂල් නීඩ්ස් තියෙන දරුවන්ට විශේෂ අවශ්‍යතා තියෙන දරුවන්ට අපි ඒ කියන්නේ විශේෂ අවශ්‍යතාවය හැටියට අපි අඳුනගන්නේ ඇවිදින්න බැරි කෙනෙකුට රෝද පුටුවෙන් යන්න රෑම්ප් එකක් හදන්න ඕන, ඇස් පේන්නේ නැති දරුවෙකුට ඇවිදින්න ඒකට වෛද්‍යයෙක් උදව් කරන්න ඕන. ඒක අපිට පේනවා. ඒක අපි ඕනම මිනිස්සෙකුගේ හැටියට ඒක ගන්නවා. නමුත් ඔබතුමන්ලා දන්නවා ඇති පන්තිවල සමහර දරුවෝ ඉන්නවා මේ ලොකු ඔළුවේ ප්‍රෙෂර් එකකින් ඉන්න දරුවෝ. බැලුමට සම්පූර්ණයි. නමුත් ගුරුවරයාට හැකියාව තියනවා ඒ අය අඳුන ගන්න. මමත් කලක් ගුරුවරියක් හැටියට හිටියා. ඒකයි මම මේ කියන්නේ. සම්පූර්ණයෙන් හොඳ පෙනුම තියනවා කියලා හිතලා මෙයා මේ අනිත් ඔක්කොම හා සමානයි කියලා හිතන්න එපා. අඳුන ගන්න දරුවන් වෙනම අඳුන ගන්න. ඒක ලොකු වගකීමක් ගුරුවරුන්ට තියෙන. ඉතින් from the inception of this project in 2019, we have come a long way, and I have seen that not only the intangible results that has obtained, but there are some tangible results such as the guidelines, a master plan, and training materials, curriculum developed. අපි මේ කාලය තුල 2019 පටන් ගත්ත මේ ව්‍යාපෘතිය කාලය තුල අපි ලබාගත් දේ බොහෝයි. එයින් අපි ගොඩක් අය මම දන්නවා පුහුණු වීම ලැබුවා. ඉගෙන ගත්තා. ඒ වගේම මේ අතින් අල්ලන්න පුළුවන් tangible results උත් අපිට තියෙනවා. අපිට දැන් master plan එකක් තියෙනවා. අපිට දැන් guidelines තියෙනවා නේ අපිට තියෙනවා curriculum එකක් NIE එකෙන් හදලා දීපු curriculum එක ඕක අරන් අපිට යන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශයේ අපිට මේක ලොකු හයියක්. දැන් jicA ආයතනය අපිට මේ තත්ත්වයට එන්න ගොඩක් උදව් කරා. දැන් අපිට පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕන මේක අරගෙන ඉස්සරහට දුවන්න ආයෙත් කාට හරි එන්න කියන්න එපා උදව් කරන්න. ඒ කාරණා ඉස්සරහට දුවන්න අපිට පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕන. We should be able to sustain this activity throughout. In the future, we don't have to, time to time you might have to update the guidelines. Time to time you might have to revisit the curriculum developed. And then we should be able to do that. And the honor that we give back to jicA is usage and giving the result by implementing what we have planned. අපි මෙච්චර කාල මේ සූදානම් වෙච්ච දේවල් පාවිච්චි කරලා ඉස්සරහට මේක අරන් යන එක තමයි අර ආචාර්ය කුමාර මහතා කිව්වා වගේ ජපාන රටේ බදු ගෙවන අයගේ සල්ලි වලින් අපි මේ ගත්ත ටැග්ගේ මොකක්ද ඒකට කියන්නේ කෘතඥතාවය පෙන්වන්න පුළුවන් ඒක යූස් කරන හැටි. එහෙම නැත්නම් අපි ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ සල්ලිත් ඉවර කරා අපේ වෙලාවත් ඉවර කරා වෙනවා. ඉතින් මම හිතනවා මේ වෙලාවේ ගොඩක් ඔයගොල්ලෝ කතාවලට අහුම්කන් දුන්න නිසා මීට වඩා මට කියන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. හැම අවස්ථාවෙම මේක ප්‍රයෝජනයට ගන්න අනිත් කාරණා මට කියන්න අමතකුණා. ඉස්කෝලේදී පාසල් පද්ධතිය තුළ අපි මේක ඉන්ක්ලූසිව් එඩියුකේෂන් කියන එක හොඳට හිතට අරගෙන හැම දරුවා දිහාම එක විදිහට බලලා කටයුතු කරන්න පුළුවන්. නමුත් එකමාත්‍ය හරි ඉස්කෝලේ ඉරලා දරුවා ගෙදර ගියාට පස්සේ එයා ඉන්න ගෙදර මේ අවට පරිසරය තත් මේ වටිනාකම මේ අදහස මේ අගය ඉගෙන ගත්තේ නැත්නම් ඒ අය දරුවා එතනදී අසරණ වෙනවා. ඒ නිසා it is not only the school, but we have a responsibility in educating the society as well. Therefore, as you rightly mentioned, this master plan talks about the responsibility of other areas as well. So this is not limited to the education ministry. මේ අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශයට විතරක් සීමා වෙච්ච මේ විෂයක් නෙවෙයි මේක. ඉතින් මම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා මේක ඉදිරියට ඉතාම හොඳින් කරගෙන යයි කියලා මේ සඳහා අපිට සහයෝගය දුන්න ජයිකා ආයතනයේ මහත්ම මහත්මීන්ටත් ඒත් එක්කම අනිකුත් අපේ රටේ අනිකුත් දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව විශේෂයෙන් ජාතික අධ්‍යාපන ආයතනය විභාග ආයතනය අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශයේ මාගේ සහෝදර නිලධාර මහත්මීන් early childhood development secretariat එක national secretariat with persons with disabilities මේ වගේ QNOQ department of social sciences සෑම දෙනාටම මගේ ස්තුතිය අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශය වෙනුවෙන් මා පුද කරනවා. මේක අද මෙතෙන්ට විතරක් ලිමිට් කරන්න එපා. මේක ඔළුවට දාගන්න හැම දරුවම තමන්ගේ දරුවෙක් වගේ කියලා හිතාගෙන අපි අපේ දරුවෝ සිටුේෂනලි වෙනස් වෙනවා. සමහර දවසට හරි හොඳට උනන්දුවෙන් ඉන්නවා, සමහර දවසට බොහොම මැලවිලා වගේ ඉන්නවා. ඒ වගේ අනිත් දරුවෝ දිහත් බලන්න මේකේ උපරිම ප්‍රයෝජනය ගන්න මේ ජපාන තෑග්ගෙන් කියලා ආරාධනා කරමින් ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා. නවතිනවා. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. Please remain on stage for a moment. අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශයේ නොවිධිමත් හා විශේෂ අධ්‍යාපන ශාඛාව විසින් ව්‍යාපෘති කණ්ඩායම අගය කිරීමට කුඩා ත්‍යාගයක් සූදානම් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒවා පිළිගැනීම සඳහා ඔබතුමියට මම ආරාධනා කරන්න සිටිනවා. Non-formal and special education branch of the Ministry of Education has arranged a little token of appreciation for the project team, and they would like for you to hand them over. Yeah, please.
බොහොම ස්තුතිවන්ත මල්ලිකම්තුමිට අපිත් එක්ක එකතු වුණාට අපිට මේ ජයික කණ්ඩායම ඇත්තටම සුවිශේෂී දායකත්වයක් දුන්නා. අපිට මේ ජයික කණ්ඩායම හොඳ නායකයෙක් හිටියා. ඔහු කොච්චර හොඳද කියනවා නම් වෙලාවකදී මට ඇත්තටම මම මතක් කරන දවස් තුළ මට හරි පාඩුවේ රණ්ඩු වෙන්නවත් කෙනෙක් නැති වෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ ඔහුගේ දවසක මම කොච්චර හොඳ නායකයෙක්ද කියනවා නම් ගිය සතියේ සඳුදා එකහමාරට ડોකියුමන්ට් එකක් බලලා ඉවර කරනකොට මට මහන්සි මං කිව්වා උට දැන් මට බෑ කියලා මැසේජ් එකක් දානකොට ඔහු සෙනිකව රෑ එකහමාරට මට අනිත් පැත්තට රිප්ලයි කරනවා මමත් තාම වැඩ බොහොම ස්තුතියි කියලා. ඒ වගේ හොඳ නායකයෙක් I invite to Mr. Oguchi. You are very good person and very good leader. Thank you very much for your support. ඒ වගේම අපිට හිටියා silent man. He was a silent person, but he is working anytime. He's a kind person. Please, I invite to Mr. Horibasan. I appreciate your duty. You are the good friend to me. Please participate in this program. ඒ කණ්ඩායමත් එක්ක අපිට ගොඩක් ජයිකා නියෝජිතින් හිටියත් අද උන්නේ අපිත් සමග එකතු වෙන්නේ නැහැ. නමුත් ජයිකා ටීම් එකත් එක්ක අපිත් එක්ක හිටියා. අපේ හිටපු සහකාර අධ්‍යක්ෂවරියක් ඉස්රාම්ගේ සුරංගනි ද සිල්වා ඔබට ආරාධනා කරනවා අපේ මේ පුංචි ටැග් ලබා ගැනීම සඳහා. ඒ වගේම අපිත් එක්ක බොහොම ලෙන්ගතු ක්‍රියාකාරීව දායක වෙච්ච ව්‍යාපෘතියේ අපේ සහෝදර නිලධාරියෙක් හිටියා. ඇය නිරන්තරයෙන් අපිත් එක්ක බොහොම සහයෝගයෙන් වැඩ කළා. විනිමානි, please come. ඒ වගේම තමයි අපිත් එක්ක නිරන්තරයෙන් සහයෝගයෙන් වැඩ කළ තව කෙනෙක් හිටියා. සමාජ සේවා දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව විතරක් නෙවෙයි සෞඛ්‍ය දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවේ ආදී පළාත් නිලධාරීන් සියලු දෙනා සම්බන්ධීකරණය කිරීමේ මූලික වගකීම දරුවෝ කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. අදත් සමාජ සේවා නිලධාරීතුමිය මාත් එක්ක කියනවා ඇත්තටම මේ වැඩසටහනට මම සම්බන්ධ වුණේ ඇය නිසා. Miss Dilani, please come. අපි බෙහෙවින් අගය කරන ඔබේ කාර්යභාරය ඔබ අද අපි සමග නොමැතුණත් අදත් ඔබ සහභාගී වුණා. අපි ස්තුතියි ඔබට. ඒ වගේම මෑත කාලේනම අපිත් එකතු වුණ හොඳම හොඳ දෙපළක් ඉන්නවා අලුතෙන් එකතු වුණා. නිමේෂ් කුලතුංග ඔබ විශ්වවිද්‍යාලය වරම් ලැබපු ඉංජිනේරු පීඨයේ සඳහා සුසුකම් ලැබපු හොඳ දරුවෙක්. ඔබේ දක්ෂතා අපි අඳුරගත්තා. ඔබේ අනාගතයේ සර්වත්වකාරීව සාර්ථක වේවා කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. ඔබට සුබ පැතුම්. ඒ වගේම අපිත් එක්ක බොහොම කෙටි කාලයක් වුණත් බොහොම අගයට වැඩ කරපු තවත් ඉංජිනේරුවරියක්. ඇය ඉංජිනේරුවරියක් වුණත් ඇය ඉංජිනේරු ශාස්ත්‍රයට නොයා මේ ව්‍යාපෘතිය තුළ බොහෝ අත්දැකීම් ලබා ගනිමින් අනාගතයේ ඉංජිනේරු ශාස්ත්‍රයේ මාස්ටර් උපාධියක් හැදෑරීමට බලාපොරොත්තු වන හසිනේ නයනතාරා ඔබ බොහොම අගය කරන මේ කෙටි කාලය තුළ අපිට බොහොම සහායක් වුණා. ඔබටත් අපේ පුංචි තිලෙනක් තියෙන ලබා ගන්නට. එනම් බෙහෙවින්ම ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා පහ එක්කු සැමට විශේෂයෙන් ජයික ටීම් එක ඔබට සුබ ගමන්. බොහොම ස්තුතියි.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kumara and the NFSC branch for arranging that surprise. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our national seminar. And අපි අපගේ ජාතික සම්මානයේ අවසානයේ කෙරෙහි දැන් ළඟාවෙන් පවතිනවා. Thank you everyone for your active participation. Let's continue this journey of inclusivity and make a lasting impact on the lives of children with special needs. Best wishes for your endeavors to create a more inclusive education landscape. ඔබගේ ක්‍රියාකාරී සහභාගීත්වය වෙනුවෙන් ඔබ සැමට මගේ ස්තුතිය ඔබ කර සිටිනවා. අන්තර්කරණය කිරීමේ වැඩපිළිවෙල ඉදිරියට ගෙන යමින් විශේෂ අවශ්‍යතා ඇති දරුවන්ගේ ජීවිතවලට ධනාත්මක බලපෑමක් ඇති කිරීමට මෙම වැඩසටහන ඔබට වැදගත් සහායක් වූවා නම් ඒ අපට සතුටට කරුණකි. මනවින් අන්තර්කරණය වූ පාසලක් සහ අධ්‍යාපනික වටපිටාවක් නිර්මාණය කිරීමට ඔබ සැමට සුබ පතනවා. Ladies and gentlemen, the time has finally come. අන්තර්කරණ අධ්‍යාපන ප්‍රවේශය ඔස්සේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ විශේෂ අවශ්‍යතා සහිත දරුවන්ගේ අධ්‍යාපනයේ සවිමත් කිරීමේ ව්‍යාපෘතිය සාර්ථකව අවසන් වූ බවට නිවේදනය කර සිටිනවා. It's my pleasure to announce the project for strengthening education for children with special needs through inclusive education approach has completed successfully. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for participating. Lonavarni Mahatmani, Sahabagi, Thank you and please get home safe.